All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. NASCAR Xfinity Series New Way 200 at Gateway, aka Worldwide Technology Raceway, for the regular season finale, race number 26 of the NASCAR Xfinity Series 2025 schedule. Welcome to this evening's NASCAR full race live commentary coverage. Second live commentary stream of the day following Cup Series practice and qualifying, which wrapped up not that long ago, about an hour ago or so. Now time for a prime time under the lights in St. Louis race. And again, it is the regular season finale for the Xfinity Series. With that being said, we'll take a look at the point standings. We've got a couple of battles to watch today. We've got the regular season championship battle amongst three drivers mathematically who can take home those 15 playoff points and try to get themselves into the best situation possible leading into the start of the playoffs next week at Bristol. Connor Zilisch is the points leader despite only running 24 of 25 races so far. He's got a 20-point cushion over his teammate Justin Allgaier. And then Sam Mayer is minus 50 points. Mathematically, he has a chance, but it doesn't look like it's a great opportunity unless Zilisch gets into early trouble in this race. And then Mayer is able to score a ton of points. He could score as many as 61 points in a full race. And obviously, 50 points, again, is the difference between Mayer and Zilisch. So I could eliminate him after the first stage or two just based off of where exactly Zilisch scores for stage points in stage 1 and 2, assuming he does get those said points. The current live leaderboard, I might have to just log out of that and then try logging back into NASCAR.com again. Yeah, for some reason, the live leaderboard is only showing the Cup Series qualifying for the moment. Want to go through the starting lineup of tonight's race. There we go. After numerous occasions before the stream and now just shortly after the stream begins of trying to get the raw feed up on NASCAR.com, it is finally up and running. And now we can take a look at the starting lineup for today's New Way 200. So Connor Zilisch, who is the regular season points leader, as mentioned moments ago, is on the pole for this race. Nick Sanchez on the front row, going to be starting in second. William Sawalich, Sam Mayer in row 2. Taylor Gray, Harrison Burton, row number 3 for this one. Row 4 will end up being Eric Almirola and Carson Kvapil. Austin Hill, Christian Eckes, row 5, rounding out the top 10. Daniel Dye with Brandon Jones in row 6. Ryan Sieg, Justin Allgaier, row 7. Sheldon Creed, Corey Day, row 8. Daniel Hemrick, Jesse Love in row number 9. Hemrick back in the Kaulig 11. Interesting because he was in that ride full-time last season. And obviously now this season full-time for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Behind them in row number 10, Jeb Burton, Kyle Sieg. Anthony Alfredo, Sammy Smith in row 11. Row 12 is going to be Matt DiBenedetto and Cole Raz, I believe the first starter the season for Raz. Blaine Perkins, Parker Retzlaff in row 13. Row 14 for Brandon Poole and Jordan Anderson. We usually don't see Anderson run the non-super speedway races, but he's at Gateway tonight. Thomas Annunziata, D. Thompson, row 15. Deeper in the field in row 16 will be Jeremy Clements, Ryan Ellis. Behind them, row 17, Garrett Smithley and Nick Lights. Row 18, Glenn Reen and LeVar Scott. First start of the season for Scott, the Xfinity Series in the Matt Mills. And Joey Gase round out the 38-car field in row 19. Playoff battle, with this being the regular season finale. I mentioned already about the regular season championship race. Well, the playoff race, for the most part, looks to be intact for the drivers that are above the cut line. Right now, the drivers locked in with wins would be Connor Zilisch, who has the most in the series with 8. Justin Allgaier with 3, same for Austin Hill. Sam Mayer has 1 win, same for Jesse Love, Brandon Jones, Sammy Smith, and Nick Sanchez. Carson Kvapil is locked into the playoffs on points already, plus 131. He had to be at least 54 points above 12th in the standings coming into the race. He's 100 points above, so he's locked in. Sheldon Creed plus 65, plus 60 for Taylor Gray. As long as there's no new winner, those two are locked in, even if they have a bad points day. And if we were to get a new winner, then Harrison Burton would have to outscore Taylor Gray by 29 points, or he would have to outscore Sheldon Creed by 34 points in order to be able to lock his way in or bump one of those two out of the playoffs. If there are no new winners tonight, then the only driver who can point their way in from below the cut line would be Jeb Burton above his cousin Harrison Burton. The gap is 31 points. So that's going to be quite a big uphill climb for Jeb. We'll see if he can get it done. Probably going to need some help. Starting in the top 10, is Harrison Burton, starting in 6th. As for Jeb Burton, 19th, middle of the pack. So not looking great. We've seen Harrison Burton get involved in several incidences early in races this season, and then it seems like the damage isn't as bad. They're able to still log in laps, so by the end of the race, get a halfway decent finish. Can't have an issue like that here today. Got to stay out of trouble. We saw some drama in the regular season finale for the Cup Series at Daytona 2 weeks ago in a similar circumstance where Bowman was about 29 points below Reddick. If we were to see a new winner, which we came very close to ending up happening there, here tonight, a little bit different, where we don't have to have a new winner for these two to have a good, solid points battle. All that long-windedness, and haven't even opened the chat on my phone yet, so I'll give a shout-out to those of you watching in the chat and those that were in the chat before the start of tonight's stream. Duddlebug5, Bam Hall, Robert Goodrich, Base Tugboat 2675, JoJo, Regine Huddleston, Billy Kramer, Bond1771, Frank Powers. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Make sure to like the stream. Indeed. Hit that like button. Got almost 50 people in the chat already. Cars are on the racetrack. They did just cut to commercial on the parade laps, which was kind of interesting. Not sure if there's some technical issues going on at Gateway or not. We've seen issues in the past with internet service. And I guess there's been some lighting issues at the racetrack for night races, both for IndyCar and in the earlier NASCAR days back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, when they would run here on a yearly basis with truck and Xfinity action. First Xfinity race at Gateway in St. Louis since 2010, the infamous Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski race, with the famous Bob Keselowski quote at the end of it, "I'm not going to let him kill my boy." But hopefully we don't have an ugly finish to tonight's race, and we have a pretty solid one in store. I'm curious to see how these Xfinity cars of today race on this Gateway surface. It's going to lead for a very interesting race. I think we're going to see quite a few cautions, if I had to guess. New track, so they had a full 50 minutes of practice. That took place yesterday. Qualifying was earlier this afternoon. And Connor Zilisch again on the pole. Still with that broken collarbone. 3 wins in a row, by the way, for Zilisch. A win at Watkins Glen, then he got hurt in the post race. Technically won Daytona because he started the race, got awarded the points for it. Parker Kligerman subbed in for him after stage 1. And in substitution was able to drive to victory lane. But again, Zilisch got the win for that. And then last week, another road course ended up getting the race win in Portland on a standalone Xfinity Series race. So can Connor Zilisch go for 4 wins in a row, get the 9th of the season, and that 88 team as a whole looking for win number 10, because Kyle Larson had a win at Texas back in the spring, filling in for Zilisch, who missed that race. The Owners' Championship battle for the regular season standings is a little bit wider of a gap. In fact, 69 points for the 88 team to the 7 team. So the Owners' regular season title's already been locked up by the 88 team with that one race that was missed. Larson dominated at Texas. But the driver standings only a 20-point difference because Zilisch not being in that race did not get the points for it following the wreck that he had at Talladega the week before. Just got done checking pit road times. The second week in a row, I'm missing my Michigan Wolverines. Speaking of which, I gotta make a wardrobe change here. I'm not gonna change the whole wardrobe. I just gotta get a new hat on. Almost forgot. I can't watch the game, so I'll support in spirit. They're probably going to be down about 27-7 at halftime here when I check the score in about another hour and a half. But good luck. Go Blue. Tonight's scheduled distance for this NASCAR Xfinity race at Gateway, 160 laps. Stage 1, 35 laps. Stage 2, 35 laps. Final stage will make up the finish of 90 laps. They will have to pit for fuel and tire purposes at some point in Stage 3. Stage 1, Stage 2, not the case, as most Xfinity and truck races are, just because of the shorter race lengths to that of the Cup Series level. Mizzou beat Kansas. Great weather, mid-70s. Moderately very cool and windy where I live today. I think it only got up to like 65. Super windy outside. It felt like fall. We know how these Xfinity Series cars race. And I'm curious to see how they race under the lights here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Visual purposes, the race is on the CW, local affiliate, for those of you wondering. And the lights are, again, out on the pace car. So going green this time by. 1 1/3 mile flat oval. We had a 1 1/3 track last weekend at Darlington, but the Xfinity Series was not there. And although that track, same in race track length, much different than that in the racing we will see here this weekend. Zilch on the outside of row 1. Through the restart zone. Gets the launch. Green flag in the air. We're underway in the New Way 200 at Gateway. Already a little bit of aggressiveness into the first turn on the first lap. Taylor Gray going for third place from the inside of row 3. Got by one car underneath another, still side by side for third off the exit of the corner. And as for the two front runners, Zilch and Sanchez still side by side as well for the lead down the backstretch. A little bit of side drafting back and forth. Zilch going to get the run on the high side through 3 and 4. Pull clear off the exit of the corner. 48 will tail in line in the draft behind him down the main front straightaway. And Zilch leads lap 1 from the pole. William Sawalich up into the third spot early on. One of the few drivers that are below the cutoff line in the playoffs to start up in the top dozen in the running order. And a little bit better as of late, though. Most of those races have come on road courses at Watkins Glen and Portland over the last few weeks. But a good qualifying effort. And already hounding after the second place car, Nick Sanchez in the opening laps is Sawalich. Taylor Gray going to get passed from the high side by Sam Mayer, and now maybe another spot going to be lost to the driver on the high side of him now. That's his teammate Eric Almirola, who is very good on these flatter, larger ovals, had great success at New Hampshire, one of his few cup wins coming there. And he had a win at Martinsville last season in the Xfinity Series on a part-time effort. That was Almirola. This season his only win on a flat oval at Phoenix. Definitely think he can be one of the favorites for the win tonight. I didn't get the poll in the chat. I'm surprised nobody mentioned anything yet. Let's see here. I am very sorry for that. Who will win at Gateway? If I could spell Gateway. O'Connor Zillich. Eric Almirola. And I mean, Justin Allgaier didn't look too great in practice and qualifying, so I kind of don't want to put him, but I think I will just for the heck of it. That 7 team has just been, I mean, they've been sliding. They look very strong early in the season. They got all 3 of their wins first half of the regular season. They've been slumping through the summer. Remember, they had over a 100-point lead in the regular season standings in early July, and that slipped away very fast with the heated success by Zillich on both the road courses and ovals through July and August. And then even leading into September last week, well, I guess technically it was the last day of August last week in Portland. Calendar flips to September for our first race of the month here tonight, and he's already on pole and looking for those early stage points. Almirola to the inside of Sanchez. Sanchez did not give Almirola a lot of room. He was hugged down to the curbing on the inside of the racetrack through 3 and 4. By Almirola, all things considered. Maybe a little bit of a push from his teammate Taylor Gray behind him on the front stretch. They'll work together, and Almirola's clear for 4th. Mayer made the pass on Sanchez for 3rd a few laps prior, and Sanchez, after qualifying on the front row, already rear bumper as well, will try to make a pass to move inside the top 5 for his own right. Matthew Dorter Bruno, welcome into the stream as well. 1.1 second lead for Zilic over Sawalich at the front of the field. Sam Mayer 2.1 seconds back at 3rd. Almirola is 2.7 back in 4th. And Nick Sanchez 3 seconds off the lead in 5th. Very early in this race. Might be cutting a commercial on CW in the early going. Justin Allgaier up 6 positions already to 8th place after starting 14th. Jesse Love up 6 spots as well from 18th to 12th in the early laps. And those are the 2 biggest movers so far. Also 5 spots for Jeremy Clements up to 26th. But those are the only drivers so far in these first 10 laps who have moved up at least 5 positions from their starting spot at the beginning of the night. Daniel Dye down 5 positions to 16th after starting 11th. 4 spots lost for Raz Perkins. But no major losers for the most part. Maybe a bit of patience early in this Xfinity race. I was expecting to see quite a few yellows. Obviously, this is only stage 1. Relatively short race, 200 miles. Can only making up 160 laps around this racetrack. Sawalich has been running slightly quicker lap times than that of our race leader the last couple of laps. He's gone from about 1.2 seconds off the lead to 9/10 back. From about lap 10 to where we're at right now in lap 12. Couple of side-by-side battles just inside the top 10. Jesse Love, Brandon Jones are door-to-door through 3 and 4. That battle is actually just outside the top 10. That battle's for 11th. And Jones getting freight train. He just got cleared by Love. He's still on the bottom lane of the racetrack. Couldn't get the drive off. And Sheldon Creed in the double zeros now to his outside. Big wiggle up the racetrack for Jones. Barely keeps it off of Creed as they're tight quarters racing off turn 2. Not too aggressive with the side draft as Jones down the backstretch into turn 3. They're still door to door. Not sure how much longer he's going to be able to hold on for. So I mentioned with this racetrack being 1 1/3 miles in length compared to Darlington. This is a flat racetrack. Darlington very narrow, but more grooved. A lot lower grip with how old the asphalt is there compared to here at Gateway. I don't see quite as much fall off at Gateway, though we will see a little bit more in the Xfinity Series than what we'll see in the Cup Series race more than likely tomorrow. So far, only about 0.3 of a second of fall off for a lot of these teams in the early laps. Our race leader, Connor Zilic, may be falling off a little bit more because he still has the fastest lap of the race at lap 3 than what anybody else has had. 33.684 for Zilic's fastest lap. And the most recent lap that he just ran was a 34.293. Almirola going for 3rd to the inside of Sam Mayer in the 41 car. And it looks like Mayer's just going to let Almirola go, duck in line behind him very quickly. Not going to waste any time trying to battle for this position. He's got a sizable gap back to the 5th place car of Nick Sanchez, who's still trying to hold off Taylor Gray. So that's why he was trying to pull off the veteran move there, not fall too far back. Although Mayer still mathematically has a shot for the regular season title coming into the night, it wasn't very likely. He still does have a reasonable shot for 2nd, which would be a 2 playoff point swing to go from 8 points, which is what you would get for 3rd, and 10 points for 2nd. He's got to make up 30 points in one night. It's going to be tough with Almirola Allgaier rather, the other A, moving up quite a few spots from the start. Another spot gained for Love and Allgaier from the start, so now they're both up 7 spots instead of 6. Clements up 6 now. 5 spots also gained for Parker Retzlaff in the 4 car. Almirola up 4 positions to 3rd after starting 7th. I really like the speed in that 19 early on. He looks to be the quickest middle of stage 1. Henry Yester, welcome to the stream. CW should stream the broadcast on the app subscription plan maybe next year. I think they do stream on the app in certain locations, if I'm not mistaken. But I think it still depends on your local affiliate what they're airing on the CW for that night specifically. So if you don't end up having it on TV, you're probably not going to get it on the app with the geolocation anyway, which doesn't help your cause. If you can't watch it on TV, then you're probably not going to be able to watch it visually anywhere. Big moment for Nick Sanchez up on a turn 4, had a wiggle. Creates a much easier opportunity for Justin Allgaier to strike. He was underneath him down the front stretch. Couldn't clear him before entry into turn 3, but gets by him center of the corner. Harrison Burton just trying to do what he can to survive tonight. He's got 31 points to work with over Jeb Burton. Almost got squeezed against the fence by Jesse Love as they battle for 10th off of turn 2. And although Harrison Burton wants all the points he can get, and currently in the battle for that final stage point, Jeb Burton's not off to a great start tonight. Last thing you want to do if you're Harrison Burton, get into an early wreck and then allow for something of an opportunity for Jeb Burton, where if he gets a top 10 finish, that'll be enough to boot Harrison out. Harrison, a 4-time winner at the Xfinity Series level in his lone season here with JGR. That was back in 2021. Now back full-time for the first time in those 3 seasons he was in the Cup Series. Was able to win 1 race, which came last season in the Summer Daytona event with the Wood Brothers, getting them their 100th career win as an organization. And Harrison Burton making the most of this opportunity with a team that's got very limited resources compared to most others here in this series. Terry Lewis, welcome to the stream. Lovey Burton been battling for a while. I'm surprised Harrison's been able to run as good on the outside lane as he is right now. Jesse Love just cannot clear. Until now. Off turn 4, he's finally clear. A little bit of a slide up the racetrack. I thought Harrison was going to maybe try a crossover to the bottom. He did not. Looks like Sheldon Creed, maybe? Got against the wall in turns 1 or 2 recently? Nope, different car. 76, Cole Raz. Made contact with the wall. That was in turns 1 and 2 several laps ago. We obviously stayed green. No cautions yet. Through 23 laps out of 35 in stage 1. Side-by-side commercial break. Currently on the CW. Top 10 in the running order has Connor Zilic in the lead. William Sawalich still in second, 1.6 seconds back. Third is Eric Almirola. Sam Mayer fourth. Justin Allgaier in fifth. Nick Sanchez in 6th, 7th for Taylor Gray. Austin Hill 8th, Carson Kvapil 9th. Jesse Love rounds out the top 10. The battle for that final playoff spot, I mentioned about Harrison Burton just falling out of the top 10 back to 11th after getting passed by Jesse Love a few laps ago. Jeb Burton is in 19th, right where he started the race. Hasn't moved forward or backwards since the beginning. This race is going to move along quickly. Again, only 160 laps, 200 miles, and we're already down to just 11 laps to go in this opening stage. Harrison Burton in danger of losing a couple more spots. Christian Eckes in the 16 is underneath him off turn 4. Brandon Jones in the 20, also just behind both of them. And Allgaier will look to make another pass on his wayward through the field, already moving up to 5th momentarily over Nick Sanchez. Now looking underneath of Sam Mayer for 4th, his former teammate. They're door-to-door into turn 1. Got alongside of him off the exit of turn 4, a little bit of a slide job maneuver in the first half of 1 and 2, and increasing his gap off of the exit of the corner and down the backstretch, Allgaier to 4th. Brandon Jones underneath the 25 car of Harrison Burton. That pass is about to be made for 12th. A lot of movement through the field still working on after the qualifying order. Some of the faster guys starting mid-pack, working their way into the top 5, top 10 like an Almirola and Allgaier. And some that qualified well moving backwards. Almirola battles his teammate William Sawalich for 2nd. They're within 1/10 of a second of one another. Almirola looks low off turn 2. Couldn't quite get the drive off the exit of the corner. Looked like the 19 might have tightened up a little bit. He's well faster at this point in the run. I don't think he's going to catch Zilich before the end of the stage. Lap car on the high side, so Almirola having to take the bottom, forced in dirty air behind Sawalich. Not going to get alongside of him this time off 3 and 4 as well. He's down to 7 more laps to try to get by this 18 car for 2nd. He's got plenty of time. The gap back to Allgaier behind them is about 4 seconds. And again, Almirola looks low off turn 2. This time he hangs on the left rear corner panel, and he is there on the 18 of Sawalich. They'll drag race down the back straightaway. Almirola should be able to outbreak him on the inside. It looked like William Sawalich just made a smart move. Will let the 19 go, let the teammate go, settle in 3rd. Again, he's got 4 seconds back to the next car behind him. He should hold on for 3rd at the end of the stage, so he's not going to lose any more track position, barring a major mistake. Almirola's deficit is 2.1 seconds to Connor Zilich. That last lap, he was about 200ths quicker than the race leader, but that wasn't even a full lap with the clean air in front of the 18. Curious to see what this next lap is going to be. I would imagine it's going to be even more of a significant increase in the lap time Almirola's putting down versus Zilich. .8 seconds. 3/10 quicker almost. 34.6 to a Zilich 34.9. Yeah, that 19 car looks like the guy right now. Him and Allgaier, I think, are the 2 fastest cars. Zilich had the track position starting on the pole versus the other guys who started up there with him. A short 35 lap opening stage. He should be able to hold on. Got out to a big enough lead, but I think the 19 and the 7 are a bit quicker than the 88 tonight. So the drive to go for 4 consecutive wins for Connor Zilich. It's going to be tough. He's got some stiff competition this evening. I think the biggest goal for him, if he doesn't win the race, obviously make sure you win that regular season championship. So having the 20-point cushion over Allgaier, this first stage qualifying way better than Justin, is going to be crucial. And that's the mistake that Allgaier made in qualifying. He qualified 14th. His teammate qualified on the pole. He knew that it was going to probably mean that he was going to have a hard time trying to get back up to him by the end of stage 1. He did a good job getting to 4th, but he's going to lose 3 points. And again, barring a Zilich incident or something just completely catastrophic for that 88 team, I don't see the 7 outpointing him by 20, and not to mention by the end of the race. Right now, assuming Allgaier still ends up in 4th, I don't think he's catching Sawalich. And I don't think Almirola is going to catch Zilich. It'd be a 3-point difference between Zilich in 1st and then Allgaier in 4th for the stage 1 stage points. Carson Kvapil, Christian Eckes are battling for 10th currently, so that would be the last stage point. Three wide. Right around Eckes and Kvapil. There's a lap car in the 91 that was on the outside of both of them right as they were getting through the second half of turns 3 and 4. Thought there was going to be some contact. Luckily, there wasn't. Matt Mills in the 91 this weekend. He was already 2 laps down at the time of him getting passed by those two. Lead is still about 0.8 of a second between the 88 and the 19. Another 0.2 quicker, though, for Almirola the last lap. 34.7 to a 34.9 for Zilich. Harrison Burton, Corey Day. Side by side into turns 1 and 2. Corey Day back in the Xfinity Series for the first time in a while. As he tries to make this pass, he'll slide clear as Harrison Burton continues to fall backwards in the running order. Caution is out on the final green flag lap of stage 1. Big impact for Jordan Anderson in the 32. I would imagine that looks like it could have been a brake failure. Brake failure or a right front failure, one or the other, because that was a massive shot. The entire right side of his race car is demolished.
It damaged the right front. So I'm expecting to have been pretty hard hit there. Like we were talking about, brake rotors glowing. Yeah, that could provide that heat that overheats the right front and cause a failure.
From a pole to a ninth stage win for Connor Zilich. He leads them all to this first stint of the race. And that ninth stage victory matches Justin Allgaier for the most this season. Almirola, we talked about, got to second. Sawalich third. Allgaier from 14th to 4th. Sanchez drops to 5th. Other drivers getting points. Mayer, Bill, Love, Gray, and Ackus. Fired out. All turns 1 and 2. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series of the CW.
You know, I haven't mentioned it on the stream at all tonight, but we usually see a lot of brake failures here at Gateway. And with this being the first Xfinity race here in 15 years, I feel that we could see a lot of brake issues going forward. That 32 team does not run every week either, so that is also maybe part of the problem. Again, very rare to see them on a non-drafting style racetrack or non-super speedway, especially with Jordan Anderson behind the wheel. Usually he's only wheeling Daytona, Talladega, sometimes Atlanta with the new reconfiguration, but Anderson out in the early laps. Cole Raz had made contact with the wall about 15 laps ago. He has been off the track ever since. He didn't hit anywhere near as hard as Anderson. I'm not sure if he had a brake failure and noticed beforehand or what the case was, but that's 2 drivers to drop out of the race already through stage 1. So this is going to end stage 1 under caution. Connor Zilich will pick up the playoff point and 10 regular season points. Eric Almirola in second, getting 9 points for position. 1 point per position all the way down through the top 10. So Sawalich third. Justin Allgaier 4th. Nick Sanchez 5th. Sam Mayer in 6th. 7th for Austin Hill. Jesse Love 8th. Taylor Gray 9th. And Christian Eckes in 10th. $32 likes so far. Trying to get to at least 50. We should easily be able to get there. I wouldn't be surprised if we got there before halfway in tonight's race, honestly. Lap 80, I think we can get to 50 likes by then. 100 might be pushing it. We're now into the football season, so I've noticed here these last couple of weeks not seeing as many of you, but for many of you that are tuned in, I greatly appreciate you watching the channel again here tonight. We're live every NASCAR race weekend for Truck Xfinity Cup races, Cup practice, and qualifying all year long, excluding races that I go to in person. I will be at Bristol next weekend for the Xfinity and Cup race. I'll be doing live commentary for Truck and ARCA on Thursday night. So again, Truck and ARCA Thursday night, doubleheader live commentary on the channel. And then race highlights from the grandstands will be uploaded from Friday's Xfinity race and Saturday's Cup race, Bristol Motor Speedway next weekend. First pit stops of the race are coming up very, very soon. Chris Davis, welcome to the stream. Steve, Federico Sanchez, welcome everybody. Dangerous caution. Yeah, that was a pretty hard hit. Slight fire underneath the right front. Anderson out of his car very quickly. All too familiar with fires inside of a race vehicle. And that scary one at Talladega a few years ago in the Truck Series. I'm not sure where he was running before the incident took place. But unfortunately, 37th after the fact.
This is brought to you by Progressive. When you bundle home motorcycle insurance, visit progressive.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Golden Corral. Golden Corral honors our nation's hero. How about that crowd-free race? Watching Little John, the Grammy Award-winning rapper, won alongside Usher and Ludacris for the song "Yeah" back in 2005. Can you believe it's been 20 years ago, Jamie?
I used to get crazy to that song, Adam.
Little John. Little John.
Well,
Not little. Lil, you didn't,
Lil.
you didn't like how I said it?
No, you had the
Okay,
TTL in there.
well,
It's just
I was trying to
Lil.
call out Jamie, and now you're trying to call out. Just
Team
stay in your
Parker.
lane over
I
here.
watched him earlier today. He was getting ready to that song.
Hey, let's get to this. The Whelen caution lights are on. Whelen, the official warning lights of NASCAR and America's most trusted manufacturer of emergency lights and sirens. We were nearly completely clean in the opening stage, final lap.
Nearly.
There in stage one, get a caution when Jordan Anderson has a tire issue, gets into the wall. Connor Zilic able to lead all the laps. And now we have these pit stops, and these are huge because this is one of those great opportunities to gain some of that track position. And stage two, even though it's 35 laps, as our plan is laid out in the beginning of the night, it's going to be less than that once everything cycles through, so even less time to get your work done. And you look at our bumper here, these are points earned. Zilic gets 10. Allgaier only gets 7. But you know what? He gets those 7, and he started 14th. So for him to only lose 3 points in that exchange, pretty big for that team to stay in the hunt for this regular season title. Big for Gray to get a couple of points as well. Came in 60 points above the playoff cut line. Harrison Burton doesn't get any, but neither does Jeff Burton, and so they come out of that all square when you look at the battle at the cut line.
Yeah, I think Allgaier is going to need the 88 to have a little bit of trouble, right? Like he's going to need to score stage points in this next stage and maybe have the 88 have some issues. His pit crew could do some work for him here. Justin Allgaier's pit crew rate 7th on pit road this year. It's a little bit better than Connor Zilic's.
Zilic has the #1 stall. You enter pit road here in turn 3. Progressive pit road is open. Everybody coming down at the end of stage 1. Yeah.
And for William Sawalich, finished 3rd in that first stage, had the pace, but he's driving the right front off, needs right side grip, just sliding around. You see him at the top of your screen. So Jeff Bender and the crew told him we'll undo an adjustment they made before the race to try and fire off better. Crew also remove a little debris on the left front brake opening as they take 4 fresh Goodyear tires. No go fuel, Dylan.
Couple big movers here. The president of Eric down the lead from 7th to 2nd. Said that he was a little bit too tight. Center turn was his biggest hindrance. 4 tires and fuel for him. Justin Allgaier, 14th to 4%. Good security entry and exit. Just a little tight in the center. They'll make an air pressure adjustment. And Connor Zilic at the bottom said he was a little tight in the center and free off. And there's the race off pit road.
And the Progressive race.
This is a 3-wide race off of pit road. Sawalich beats Hill, and Zilic falls back to 3rd.
Loses 2. See with a big jump there. We'll follow up what they did. Allgaier falls back.
I'd imagine either fuel only, probably fuel only for Ryan Sieg. In a must-win situation to make the playoffs, he's too many points back to mathematically bump his way in. So maybe saving a set of tires for later. It's worth the shot, I guess. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I didn't see many drivers fall off the lead lap before the end of that last stage. Looks like 31 cars are going to be on the lead lap to begin stage 2, and 2 of them out of the race, Anderson and Raz. There's a chance that Raz might be in the race, but 16 laps down after making that contact with the wall a handful of laps in. Might have went to the garage for some quick repairs and then right back out on the racetrack. Trina Harrison, thanks for tuning in as well. I didn't shout you out yet, but I see you in the chat. As well as everybody else watching tonight's live commentary stream, Gateway. Quarter of the way home, 40 laps down. out of 160. Take a quick break. Our first of the stream. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series New Way 200. $37 votes for who you think is going to win tonight's race. 57% of those 37 votes taking Connor Zilisch, who wins stage 1 from the pole to go for 4 straight wins. Justin Allgaier at 19% was rocketing his way up to 4th before the end of the last stage. Almirola, who was runner-up, has 14% of the votes, and other at 11%. I do think that those are the 3 fastest in this race so far. I would say the 19-7 are faster than the 88. Zilisch losing some track position is going to be huge. We'll see if he can get back to the lead quickly. And how long can William Sawalich hold on for as he's out in front for the first time? Austin Hill and that 21 team, their pit crew has been great all season long. They gained him a couple spots. He's now going to be more than likely on the front row. I'd be shocked if he gives up row 1 to Zilisch. I think Bristol's a bucket list race for sure. The Bristol night race is a bucket list. If you ever get a chance to go, highly recommend it. I've been there 4 times prior. Yeah, 4 times. So this week will be 5. 4 in a row. I didn't go last year. Missed out last year, so the streak ended. But back again this year. I will say with the current next-gen car and short tracks, it's the worst for you guys just to, for me to just tell you to hold off on it and don't go for, another 6, 7+ years, depending on how long we have this car for. I don't know. I can't do it. That's why I'll be back again. I love Bristol. It's been my favorite track since I was a kid. So it's pretty cool to go there. My first experience was kind of tainted in the sense that it wasn't the full Bristol experience. I was actually at the 2020 All-Star race, which was the first race that they had fans back after the pandemic, which was cool because everybody that was there, I mean, for the 30,000 people that were in the stands, because they limited the seating capacity, it was rocking. Everybody was excited to get back to the racetrack that was there that night, and that was my first Bristol experience, and I'd probably say of the Bristol races I've seen in person, that was probably the worst one. Just having half the cars on the racetrack, it just felt kind of weird. It's the only All-Star race I've ever been to. But it was still enough for me to go back. And 2021 knocked it out of the park. The Xfinity race that Saturday night, one of the best races I've ever seen in person, any track. And then the Cup race the next night was a banger, too. Larson stealing the win late from Harvick. Harvick, Elliott on track. Situation late. Speaking of situations, Carson Kvapil getting out of his car
He
early.
tried to refire the car, it would not fire. The team kind of inconclusive right now on what the underlying issue is. There's no smell like there was a brake failure, so a possible engine failure. But the team right now pushing it back to the garage to try and diagnose exactly what the issue was.
Engine issue for
Great
Kvapil.
for him tonight. Good news. He's already locked into the playoffs on points, so he'll be part of the championship field next Friday night, and we get things rolling in the postseason at Bristol. 11th prior to the issue for Carson Kvapil, so he was having a decent night.
And had such a hot start to this season, and it's just seemed to slip away a little bit here as we got the summer months towards the playoffs. Not the momentum you want to bring in, but you get a bit of a reset when you go to the playoffs.
William Sawalich wins the race on pit road. Great execution by the 18 team. He goes outside lane as the control vehicle. To his left, Austin Hill. Row 2 is going to be Connor Zilisch, Ryan Sieg. Sieg gaining all those spots, took 2 tires.
It's gonna be interesting to see what Zilisch can do. You see him start second row outside. We haven't seen him have to pass anybody all day long. The 18 as Walich has been really quick. We don't really know what Hill has. Had a great pit stop. It's put him in a good position on the front row as well.
All right, here we go. So Walich Hill front row this time for the restart. Green flag back in the air. The rookie is setting the control pace here as he won the race off of pit road. And he's well clear into the first turn. Zilisch gave him a great shot on top of it. Justin Allgaier 3 wide to the outside. What a power move if he pulls this off. He's clear out of turn 2. Justin Allgaier flies by the 21 and the 88. Allgaier up to second with a rocket ship. What a hole shot he had there. I mean, he blew around the cars that were underneath him. It wasn't even close out of turn 2. He made it look so easy. Start from as far back as he was, clearing both cars underneath him on a flat racetrack like this. Man, oh man. And it didn't look like the 2 cars underneath him were really giving him anything. He just beat them. Allgaier knows if he has any sort of a shot at a regular season championship, he's got to go for it here. Get this win. Maybe Zilich falls back a bit, and you just never know. Stage 3 rolls around. He's got to pick up 23 more points between now and the end of the race. He just picked up an additional point. Basically a 1-point swing between himself and the 88 because he just set the fastest lap of the race. So Zilich, who had the fastest lap of the race through stage 1, does not have it anymore. Lap 45, Allgaier put down a 33.664. It's 0.02 of a second faster than Zilich's fastest lap prior to that. And now Eric Almirola steals the point away from Allgaier. Fastest lap for the 19 car the last time. 33.619. That's 0.05 faster than Justin Allgaier's fastest lap. Allgaier looking to get by Sawalich, meanwhile, for the lead. Zilich trying to stay very close to him. Zilich overdrives the entry, trying to fall the 7. Rushed into a spot that just wasn't open yet. Allgaier wasn't quite clear of the 18. A little tight in the dirty air on the bottom for Zilich. Free opportunity now for Almirola to strike for 3rd place. And I believe Almirola is going to be clear up out of turn 2, and he is. Moved up the 88, having to lift. Breaks momentum. Now Almirola will go after Sawalich for 2nd place. Williams got a good car tonight, but I don't think he's got anything for these top 3. Sawalich led for 7 laps before losing the lead. Zilich the first 39 of the race before losing the lead on pit road to the 18. And now Justin Allgaier has led the last 3 laps. That 7 car is on a rail right now. 50 laps complete out of 160. Almirola struggling to get by Sawalich. Still at the bottom lane of the racetrack. Not able to make a pass. He tried to make a move up on the wider line, but wasn't able to make headway off the exit of the corner. Now clean air on the bottom for the 19 again. Meanwhile, Kim Kuhn on pit road has caught up with Carson Kvapil.
Really sure. I feel like first things first, these guys brought me a pretty good Johnny Morse first shot sparing technology Chevrolet today. I felt like we had a good run going. We were falling back a little at the beginning, but I think we're going to make some really good changes to make it better. And, on that pit stop there, we kind of had a delay up front. And getting ready to go. And kind of had to wait on the front full for tank or something. Drag. Didn't really get going at first, so I didn't really know what was going on. And once I started to roll, and I could tell that it was 1 or 2 half. He was making some noises. So just hated for this whole number 1 group. I feel like we were going to have a pretty good run today. I felt like our practice and qualifying was really good for what happened. And, I guess just move on to the next one and keep working at it.
We'll see Kvapil Friday night at Bristol, and he will be at Fart. Sawalich is now fallen.
I think Kvapil could be really good at Bristol next week. Great short track racer. He is proved that on his part-time basis last season with Junior Motorsports, and you don't see many short tracks on the Xfinity Series schedule, so good time to strike and right time of the year for it too. First race of the playoffs next week. Again, he is locked in on points before even coming into the night. During that interview, Eric Almirola moved into 2nd. Zilich up to 3rd, and Sawalich now back to 4th place. Big gaggle of cars battling just behind Jeb Burton in the 27, who's still in a process of trying to catch Harrison Burton. Harrison has dropped to 18th after starting 6th. No stage points in stage 1 for him. Again, 31 points, the difference between Harrison Burton and Jeb Burton coming into the night for that final regular season or final race of the regular season, obviously, tonight, but for that final playoff spot in 12th in the standings. Jeb's currently 21st, 3 positions behind him. Top 5, Justin Allgaier out in front, Eric Almirola in second, Connor Zilic third, William Sawalch fourth, Jesse Love rounds out the top 5 and 5th, all within 2.5 seconds of one another. The gap between first and second, Allgaier the last lap, as we'll see if that 19 can catch the 7. We haven't seen these two really battle amongst one another. Almirola had a slightly better starting spot, so at the beginning of the race, he was able to get to second, while Allgaier got into fourth, and never were really around anyone. Then Almirola loses time on pit road. The 7 basically maintained. The 7 gets to the lead on the restart. 19 got held up a little bit. And so now they're getting closer to one another. The 19 is running down the 7, but as he gets closer to the 7, does he have enough speed to work him over, make a pass, maybe put a lot of pressure on him, gets close to the back bumper, which we haven't seen very many guys be able to do. The better cars have been able to. That 19 is definitely one of the better cars. Side-by-side commercial break on the CW right now. We're at lap 55 of 160, lap 20 of 35 in stage 1. You're listening live on KRC to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race here at Gateway. We're going to have our diecast showing at the end of stage 2, and we will have the end of the voting poll at the end of stage 2 as well to look out for at lap 70. Ryan Sieg, Sammy Smith holding on. Remember, Ryan Sieg did not take tires on the last pit stop. Gained a little bit of track position. He's lost it. Trying to stand the lead lap before the end of the stage. And right now, I keep missing him in the running order. Where's he at? He's in 17th. Just got passed by Sammy Smith. So 17th for Sieg. He's only 10 seconds off the lead, so he's definitely going to be on the lead lap. And he's got an extra set of tires for the rest of the race. We had 8 laps of caution, which means we would have restarted at lap 8 in the stage because one of those laps of caution was the last lap of stage 1 with the Jordan Anderson incident. So 17, now 18 laps under green. And Justin Allgaier leaders had about a half a second of fall off from his fastest lap, which was earlier in this run. And about 6/10 or so for Almirola, who's only half a second out of the lead. $100 to go this time by. Oh, big loose moment for Harrison Burton out of turn 2. He doesn't need that. He closes in on the 39 with those older tires again on Sieg's car. Almirola's creeping. Once he got to within about half a second, though, he's had a hard time really trying to get any closer to the 7 car. 26 of Dean Thompson looking to make a pass on the 25. And Jeb Burton in that 27 car starting to close in as well. Harrison's not having a good night. Again, the big thing, just stay on the lead lap, stay in the race. Especially Jeb Burton not getting any stage points tonight. The good news for Harrison is that Jeb's not having a good night either. It's going to be very difficult for Jeb to try to outpoint Harrison by 31. As Harrison's dad, Jeff, is in the booth. I'll tell you what, if you're trying to sell sponsorship, if you're a mid-pack team, especially in the truck or Xfinity level, I think the playoffs do aid you with trying to sell some sponsorship You'd be like, hey, we're probably not going to win any races, but we're probably going to get some TV time because we're going to be right around 11th, 12th in points most of the year. And there's a select few races that, that battle's going to be important on the TV broadcast side of things. Because they've been showing a lot of Jeb and Harrison so far tonight. Parker Retzlaff right between these two. Jeb Burton kind of boxed in for the moment. 44, the 42 right around him. I thought it was the 4 of Parker Retzlaff. It's actually the 44 of Brennan Poole. I saw the 4 on the roof. I didn't know there was another one right after it. Coming up on 6 laps to go in stage 2 this time by. Almirola within 3/10 now of Justin Allgaier. Moving up to that wider line while Allgaier runs the bottom through 3 and 4 the last time by, and Eric's within about 3 car lengths.
They got a lot of speed. I just feel like this is the type of track those Fords can do really well at, with the way their motors work. Shifting is usually to their advantage, but it's just not worked out here so far.
His regular season points has now Zilich plus 21. He won the opening stage. All are leading here in stage 2, but Almirola's like, look, I don't care what's going on between the two of you. I'm a timer. I've won this year. I'd like to win again. And he's just knocking on the door and trying everything he can with that 7.
Well, he is, and as you watch, he's just pretty much committed to the bottom. He's letting, Eric have that second, third groove. Eric's just not able to roll in and carry enough speed through the middle, and you see Eric kind of switching it up as well. It's almost like with the 19, you'd like to see him get his whole car together and get enough air on it to make it turn, but just can't hear the momentum he needs.
The right side of their stream there, Jeb Burton just got super sideways on the inside of his cousin Harrison as they race for that final playoff spot. He's trying to clear him. Yeah, he's got a 4. There's no room 3 there.
They get these stage points here, so you're going to exit the stage the same place you were coming into the race, basically, with that advantage at the cut line. And here's where the focus needs to be now. Go on the stage, and Almirola's there, looking to the inside.
Yeah, and he got Justin loose down in turns 3 and 4, but then he'll pack a little bit of air. Then Justin missed turns 1 and 2, but I think clearing him might be a little more difficult. You see, the 19
is inside. They're checking each other off of turn 4. Skyler got the lift on the restart stage, led 20 laps, but it's anybody's guess who's going to win stage 2. 3 to go, 19 and 7 trading blows at the front.
What do you think? Does 7 need to give him more room there? You think the 19 just got loose?
19 came up for sure, just got loose. They were way above the bottom.
I mean, look at this lap traffic, and Zilich is starting to get back into it now.
Well, that was the thing. When they got down to 3 and 4, I thought that the 19 was going to have a hard time clearing because of all that lap traffic in front, but no doubt you see right here, 19 on the inside. You see a car start to wiggle. Yeah, goes up the track just a little bit. Both of them out of the throttle.
And Eric just did the same thing off of 4 this last lap as you look down the bottom now. Full picture here that basically just keeps getting a little bit of wiggle on the exit of 4. He's been doing that wider line and 1 into 3 and then trying to get the run out of 4. But he just keeps getting loose on the exit of 4.
So the lap cars getting out of the way of the 2 leaders right here. That's going to be great for Justin because now doesn't really give the 19 a lot of options.
Up to 3. Joey Gase making his 300th career start tonight.
And I think based on the balance of the 7 car, he's willing to give the 19 the inside, knowing that he can cheat it down just a little bit. I got to assume the 7's maybe a little bit tight, just not able to roll a center. I haven't really seen him be as free on exit as we have the 19 car.
Final lap stage 2. From row 3 on a restart. Power move to the outside. Able to jump to the race lead. Had an anxious moment with a 19 of Eric. Well, but he's able to hang on.
Yeah, still more to lose for Allgaier. In contention for the regular season championship battle. Swing of Zilich outscoring Allgaier by 1 stage point, so the gap is going to be 21 points for the regular season title entering stage 3. Sam Mayer now out of mathematical contention at the end of stage 2 with the lack of stage points scored for him compared to the 88-7. So it's strictly between Allgaier and Zilich, and the final stage for the regular season title, again, 21 points is the difference. Allgaier will win the stage. That'll be a playoff point for winning the stage. Eric Almirola second, Connor Zilich third, William Sawalich fourth, Jesse Love fifth, then Austin Hill in sixth, seventh for Brandon Jones, Christian Eckes in eighth, Nick Sanchez ninth, Sam Mayer rounds out the top 10. So, on the season, Connor Zilich now has 4 stage wins, and Justin Allgaier just picked up his 10th stage win of the year. So that's where those two rank. Junior Motorsports sweeps the stages so far here tonight at Gateway. Holly HD, thanks for tuning in. Or H Holly D. I read that completely backwards. Anthony Alfredo is almost up to 20th. Must be time for something on NASCAR to break. Hopefully not. That team does have a lot of mechanical issues. A lot of them are usually early in the race, too, I feel. Zilich wins our chat poll at the 50 votes. 60% of you taking him for the win. Finishes third at the end of stage 1, stage 2. Well, stage 1 he was first. Stage 2 he was third. Allgaier, 16% of the votes after winning the second stage. Almirola, who was runner-up in both, 12th. Or, sorry, not 12. 12% of the votes. I'm out of it, man. Yeah, wake up. I need to refill my water. I think that's the problem. I ran out of water middle of stage 2 and just getting dehydrated. Race is definitely flying. 1 caution for incident so far, which bled to the end of stage 1. This is our second caution of the night, which is a stage 2 break. We are still barely over 50 minutes in. It's looking like around a 2-hour race. I mean, it's about normal for the Xfinity series. The races that they have that get a lot of cautions are about 2.5 hours, but they're not long race lengths. I mean, 200 miles, it seems short tonight because it's 160 laps, but a lot of the intermediate tracks, specifically 1.5 miles, are about 300 miles, but the lap time to get the laps in are a little bit shorter on a lap-by-lap basis than what they are here by a couple seconds a lap. That adds up over time. Second pit stop of the night coming up. It won't be the last. They're not going to be able to go all 90 laps of stage 3 without having to pit again. So we'll take another break and continue our live commentary coverage. How long is Gateway? 1.33 miles. It's the same race length on track as Darlington. The difference is outside of the old surface and the fact that this track is much flatter than Darlington is the fact that turns 1 and 2 at Darlington is more wider sweeping on throttle, and 3 and 4 is the tighter corner. Where here at Gateway, turns 1 and 2 is super tight, and then 3 and 4 is more wide sweeping. Which is basically what Darlington used to be, because the backstretch used to be the front stretch, and now what is now the front stretch used to be the backstretch, and then they flipped it. So Gateway is basically that, just flatter. It's old Darlington, but flatter. Is the best way I can explain it. I was expecting to see quite a few cautions tonight. I still think we can. I mean, it's about to be stage 3 of an Xfinity Series race. We tend to see that quite often. We had that brake failure. I thought we'd have more. We still could. I don't want to see that because obviously it leads to violent impacts like we saw from Jordan Anderson. I would assume that he has been checked and released from the infield care center. I haven't heard otherwise on the broadcast. Didn't get an interview with him at all, though, either. Got out of the car under his own power. Pit road's going to be open probably this time by 86 laps to go currently. Ryan Sieg's got that extra set of tires in the event that we do get a lot of cautions here in this final stage, as he's in that must-win situation to make the playoffs. Allgaier leads the field into the pits.
Having these experiences of not just being the most dominant cars you mentioned.
Pit road huge in the first cycle at the end of stage one. I'm sure it'll pay dividends for someone here as well. Progressive pit road is open, and it's about to get really busy. Here's Kim Kuhn.
Yeah, William Sawallisch coming off that runner-up finish last weekend, hoping to back it up with another top 5, maybe a top 10. Great summer for this team, though. This run, he said, really tight to start the run. Then it came to him 1-2, though. The fronts were still chattering at the end of the run and killing his drive. 3 and 4 were a little better. You see that chassis adjustment to free him up. Little free off, though. 3 and 4 overall, though. That adjustment to loosen him up, Dylan.
Eric Alvarado. I said he was still tight a little bit on the splitter. Those H4 tires and fuel. Justin Allgaier said he was really good, but just with the center cut on the lead run, they're making a rudder adjustment here. He couldn't decide whether they wanted to loosen him up or tighten him based on Connor's feedback. Not sure what they ended up doing, but they got the pit stop they needed and the track position at the end of stage 2.
+2 for Zilla. She gets the lead back in the race.
There's slight contact between Jesse Love and Eric Almirola leaving the pits. A couple times the two tried to move up in front of the 19. He wasn't clear. And I thought that second time he was going to hook himself into that outside pit wall there for a second, but he did not, luckily. Another slow stop, though, for Almirola. He lost some pit stops, or lost some time in the first set of pit stops at the end of stage 1. He was second, fell back to 6th on that last restart, got back up to 2nd, and in 2nd at the end of stage 2 again, and now he falls back, and I think he came out of the pits in 5th. Let's see here. 6th, actually. Yeah, 6th place again for Almirola. Ready for hockey season and the NBA? Yeah, NBA on NBC. I keep seeing the freaking Round Ball Rock commercial with the SNL skit on there. So I've been like kind of having that SNL skit stuck in my head from time to time. Especially with watching SmackDowns on USA Network, and now NASCAR's on USA Network. So I've been seeing that commercial so much lately. Basketball. Hopefully there's some people that know what I'm talking about. 50 likes on the stream. Thank you, everybody. I knew we could get there before halfway, and here we are, just 4 laps shy of halfway. We just hit 50 likes, so see if we can get there to 100. 100's going to be tough. We've had about 80 to 90 people watching for the most part concurrently throughout the course of tonight's stream, so again, appreciate you tuning in. Be sure to subscribe as well for more NASCAR content like this every NASCAR race weekend. Truck Xfinity Cup races. Time for a diecast showing because it is the end of stage 2. I didn't have it next to me, so I got to get up. All right. I don't know.
Oh.
I feel like I haven't showed this one off much before. I think I've only showed it maybe once on the channel. It's one of the newer diecasts that I have. Newer by way of when I most recently bought it, because I actually bought this when I was down in Talladega earlier this season. This is Kevin Harvick and his 2001 Busch Series Championship car, number 2 for RCR. Obviously, a lot of people know of him stepping into the role after the passing of Dale Earnhardt in that 2001 Daytona 500. Ran all but one race at the Cup Series level, still finished top 10 in points that season, won a couple of races. And as for Harvick in the Busch Series, also statistically great season, winning the championship, first of 2 that he had. His second came in 2006. Figured I'd show this one because I was panicking. I didn't know which one to pick and pull from for tonight's live commentary stream. So there you have it. I don't know why it's so dusty. Maybe that's how long it's been sitting in there for. I know I showed it off at least once because I've showed all of them off on the channel, but because I just got this earlier in the year, I don't think I've showed it much. AC Delco number 2. That's a classic scheme in the Busch Series. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won a couple of titles with that paint scheme in the late 90s. Harvick in 2001. Clint Boyer had some good runs in that 2 car as well. Won a championship. It's an underratedly classic paint scheme, especially when it comes to Busch/Xfinity Series history. Basketball.
What they're talking about is the lights there, Jamie, obviously, which is the lights on your tack that kind of you reference as your pit road speed. You do that run.
Speeding on pit road for Justin Allgaier, by the way.
Correct, and that's why Jim Pullman, as crew chief, said maybe on us because they didn't quite catch that on the run through. They couldn't run 5 lights; they had to run 4 in that section.
He was going to have to finish 22 positions in front of Zilich at the end of the night to win the regular season championship based on the way things played out there in stage 1 and stage 2. Going to be almost impossible now. Launch to his left, underway. Jesse Love getting aggressive in that red and white number 2 on the restart. His teammate Austin Hill looking to the outside. 3 wide on the corner.
Yeah, White did a good job of leaving some room right there for Jesse Love, and Jesse Love ended up backing out a little bit. But I think it still put William in a decent position, being on the outside. We've seen there be a lot of momentum there for those guys. And he tried to block there. He saw and reacted to what Jesse Love was doing, but just couldn't get there quick enough. And now, as you mentioned, on the outside, it looks like Jesse Love was going to do it. In the series in 2020 near the site set on Zilich. But this race is just the dynamics changed with every stage and every pit stop we've had. We saw Zilich kind of dominate early. Then we saw his teammate Allgaier. We saw Eric Almirola be really quick. Can Jesse Love go up there and contend with Zilich?
From 18th to 2nd for Love, who rides behind his best friend, Connor Zilich, who's leading again. And now we look at the playoff bubble. Final stage of the regular season. Harrison Burton just trying to hang on. He's got a 30-plus point advantage over Jeff Burton as they run on track. But here's the other factor. You don't want a new winner. That's the only thing that really could upset the apple cart droppers above the cup on it.
And for points, for Harrison, we've said this, but really, if he can see the 27, he's in good shape. Good, that's right. No problems. Yeah, but I would say, if you're Harrison Burton, it's Williams Wallace that you don't want to see win this race. As you look at the players in the top 10, that's the one guy that, if he wins, it could eliminate him.
We were talking about you just want to keep him behind you. I think you just want to stay right behind you. Right. And just make sure that he doesn't get too far away. Because if he comes driving by aggressively, anything can happen.
How about the blue car, red, white, blue car at the front of this group we see right here? Corey Day having a great run right here, trying to get a speed win in the Xfinity Series. Awesome in a sprint car on dirt. It's been a steeper learning curve to what I think he expected coming to the Xfinity Series.
But every race, he seems to get a little bit better. Had that 11th place finish in Nashville earlier this season, running 9th right now, 8th right now. Great job by him. So we've seen this speed out times this year, his limited starts, but definitely, putting together a full race is the next journey on that path to getting more experience in the Xfinity Series and closing out those finishes. And I think tonight, just looking at that speed, if he can close it out, that's just be another check mark in gaining that experience. On board. What a mess right here. A lot of everywhere. Row seat for LeVar Scott. This is the Fox Tech on board. And where do you go? What do you do? Just tracked, making his second career start. Yeah, you're just trying to put your car in any type of clean air you can, whether it's in between the Ellis or Ryan Sieg. You see him trying to get as low as he can right here on exit. LeVar's been shifty just about every single lap that we've been on board with him. But yeah, nowhere for him to go as those two are side by side right now.
This kid's a lot of fun. Big personality. Running full-time in ARCA. Second in the standings. Second last year when he won Rookie of the Year. Back at the front. Zilich's not really pulling away from his buddy.
It's the other way.
The advantage over Jesse Love. Could be something brewing here as we continue our live coverage of the regular season finale, the Xfinity Series. Zilich leading.
75 laps to go. We'll go through the full field running order. Connor Zilich is out in front. Jesse Love in second. William Sawalich third. Eric Almirola fourth. And fifth is Brandon Jones. Austin Hill in sixth. Christian Eck is seventh. Corey Day eighth. Sheldon Creed ninth. And Nick Sanchez in 10th. 11th for Taylor Gray. Daniel Hemrick in 12th. Sammy Smith 13th. Sam Mayer 14th. Dean Thompson 15th. 16th Daniel Dye. Brendan Poole 17th. Jeb Burt 18th. Harrison Burt 19th. Justin Allgaier in 20th. 21st, Parker Retzlaff, Matt DiBenedetto 22nd, Kyle Sieg 23rd, Jeremy Clements 24th, Ryan Sieg 25th, Anthony Alfredo 26th, Ryan Ellis 27th, LeVar Scott 28th, Thomas Annunziata 29th, and Blaine Perkins last car on the lead lap 30th. Actually, Nick Lights 31st is last car on the lead lap just behind him. And then Matt Mills a lap down at 32nd, Glenn Ring 33rd, Joey Gase 34th, Garrett Smithley 35th, Cole Rass 36th, but on track 15 laps down. 2 cars out of the race. Carson Kloppel, engine failure, 37th. Jordan Anderson, brake failure, crash, stage 1. He'll finish 38th. That rounds out the full field running order. We'll take a break. Corey Day's in the 17 tonight. Running part-time Xfinity and Truck Series. Dirt racing phenom. I believe he's only either 18 or 19 years old. He's had a couple of top 10s in the Truck Series this year. He had a top 5, I think. Is it Rockingham he had a top 5 earlier in the year? He definitely had a top 5 somewhere. Couple of top 10 finishes total. I don't think he's had a top 10 in the Xfinity Series yet, but he's running 8th right now. And the HendrickCars.com Chevrolet. 70 to go this time by. Almirola looking to get by Sawalich for 3rd. Back straight away. Clear him off into turns 3 and 4. Gonna go refill my water as soon as I come back from commercial, so I'm probably gonna step away here for a few seconds. Yeah, Zilich with a broken collarbone trying to go for 4 wins in a row. 3 of those wins with the injury. He started Daytona, full race with injury in Portland last week, and full race again here this week.
Teams Chick Beans D.I. Watt returned. Took it front. Trick Williams still fifth. Did all the and it's Tuesday. 8-7 Central right here on the CW.
I think Love and Zilich would be a good tag team. I mean, they're buddies. They get along, and they're not afraid to fight, either one of them. They'll go after it.
No, and they got the YouTube show they've been doing. There's different challenges. Was put wrestling in there for sure.
We were selling Love's hanging around Really, just in the last 3, 4, 5 laps, Illich has started to put little distance between himself and the man at second. Almirola was able to get around his teammate William Sawalich, so moved the 19 up to third.
I think we're going to see Ryan Seed getting the wall here. Blocked it. That right corner. He's going to get in the marbles. You see the car get sideways. It loses all the grip. Got it slip. Good job gathering it all back up. Look at it from on board here. Lamar Scott. Nice drift. Little tap of the wall. Move on. By the way,
Happy birthday, Lamar Scott. Celebrate the day, making his second career start.
great birthday present. Getting a race in the Xfinity Series. One other thing that's caught my eye here on the 2-car of Jesse Love, he had a bit of debris sort of on the grill, so I'd be curious to see if they start to wonder about his. Let's see, still there? Yeah, it's still there. Basically, you see that clear film across the front of the race car, so just something for that team to be paying attention to if those temperature surfaces.
Blow off.
Well, there you go. That's
Been done right. Just
thank you, Danny Stockman's. Danny Stockman's listening on a broadcast out of session and got an answer.
Well, and if he thinks it's an issue, the one if he can't catch the 88, what he can do, he can slow down, let the 19 American Arnold will pass and get in behind him, and most likely he will be able to get off that way. You just don't want to give the track position. But if I'm Stockman, and I want to know if the temperatures are on corner, because if it's not too hot, then the next pit stop on it, I'll take off.
And so if I see and you start to catch from there, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Thank you. Because blocking off that grill just creates more downforce, puts more potential in the race car. It's free grip, free speed.
Well, and you said pit stop. Everyone is going to make a pit stop in this final stage. You can't go all the way on fuel. The question becomes, when do you pit? And now we're in window. Caution comes out from here on out. Everybody going to come down and get their service. If we don't get a caution, you start thinking about your green. Do you run as far as you can? Or do you try to split it up, play some games with the strategy, and try to make up some ground, making good on those tires?
You know, if you're a Cup Series crew chief, the way you tackle this is most likely split this stage because it's going to probably be the fastest in terms of analytics. When it tells you you're expecting a long green flag run, being the Xfinity Series, knowing we've had some tire issues, that's a risky proposition because if you pit, you're going to go a lap down. You could be trapped a lap down. I think a lot of these Xfinity Series teams will just try and push this as far as they can in hopes that you get a caution.
It depends on who you are. Because I think if you're William Sawalich and you have to win to get in, to make the playoffs, do you take a chance? I would guess we're going to get a caution, but that might be his only play tonight to be able to win and make the playoffs. That's a risk that if you're going to take.
What do you have, Dylan?
Well, hey, Parker hit the nail on the head earlier talking about the 17 of Corey Day and just trying to put a full race together. That's exactly what they wanted to do and was the next step they felt like in their progression. And they mainly wanted to do that because when they go to Bristol next week, they feel like that's going to be a really good opportunity for Corey to just take everything he's applied or everything he's learned and apply it to Bristol. Just feel like that's going to be a good opportunity for them. They felt like at the start of the day, qualifying third in the order was going to be a disadvantage. So if they could start in the top 15, that'd be a big win. They started 16, so pretty close, but it's kept them at the front most of the day. And Corey's done a nice job here to drive inside the top 10.
Corey just needs to go to Bristol on Friday night and do what the 17 did there in the springtime when Kyle Larson was driving.
Yeah, no pressure.
Just lay the pressure.
Wait a second. You and I are on that broadcast. I don't know if I can see that again.
He's still pulling away. Now, the second, but it didn't look like the debris came on for Jesse Love. Not sure that he dropped back there, intentionally for that, but it's gone in the wrong direction here, losing a spot. Sawalich's not too far back now.
Sort of going down to the left side there, sort of from the brake ducts that you would normally have. That's not as big a concern maybe as where it was covering the actual airflow for the engine, the radiator, but definitely removed it from that situation, but possibly having an overheating engine.
Now, Connor had a really slow lap the last 2 laps, maybe being in a little bit of lap traffic, but it has not slowed down at 19. He's made up a couple of tenths both of the last couple of laps. He's about 1.3 seconds back right now. It's going to be interesting to see the 19 can continue to get through the lap traffic better than the 88.
There's that debris coming up. Almirola goes by.
Well, and if you're Jesse Love, you slide up a little bit in the middle, try to generate some momentum on exit so you can get closer and get the air to the pressure to change on the front of that grill. And it looks like to me like it's still on there. It's just not on the grill anymore.
It's on that front right duct, basically area. which is not as big a problem.
I look at our bumper, and you think about the advantage of the regular season championship, and it all feels good right now for Connor Zilic. But he does have the Xfinity fastest lap of the night. That adds a point and just helps build that cushion between now and the end of the race as he tries to lock up the regular season. 21 Austin Hill, 20 Brandon Jones. This is for fifth.
Yeah, Jones got bogged down with a lap car off turn 2 and allowed Austin Hill to get that massive run. It looked like he was going to clear him, and Brandon sailed off in there right on the corner.
The Burtons continuing to run together on track.
And it's perfect in his gym. We'll ride on board with Harrison here. And it's perfect for Harrison just to see him there as Jeb gets right behind him and loose off of turn 2.
I'm telling you, if I'm Harrison, I want that 27 car in front of me.
Jeb doesn't want to wake up, but see, I'm still in here since we're going to Bristol next week. And he just wanted to rattle his cage. There you go.
These two have been going at it for a while. Corey got to the inside of Christian and just was not able to clear him. You see, finally, I think Christian conceded that position. As we've been looking, the brakes on all these cars are on fire right now. The 17s have been extremely hot. It's not a big deal. I mean, they're made to operate at those high temps, but you'd like to see them cool down a little bit more by the end of the straightaway. And this is one of those tracks that you see brake problems, because if you get really hot in the corner and then you have the long straightaway and it cools down too much, that's when you see the rotors break.
57 laps to go. St. Louis for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. When will we see pit stops? Zilic, Almirola, Love, Sawallich, Jones, the top 5.
And we'll go through the entire top 10 and their gaps back to the race leader, Connor Zilic, as Zilic has a 1.6 second lead over Almirola in second, 3 seconds to Jesse Love in third, 3.3 seconds to William Sawallich in fourth, Brandon Jones in fifth is 3.5 seconds off the lead. Austin Hill, 3.9 seconds back in sixth. Seventh, Corey Day, 5 seconds off the lead, 5.6 back for Christian Eckes in eighth, 5.9 back, Sheldon Creed in ninth. Nick Sanchez rounds out the top 10. He's 6.5 seconds out of the lead. So that is the top 10 in the running order. Again, their intervals back behind Zilic. They will have to pit for fuel at some point in time in this final stage. As of right now, that doesn't seem to be any sort of an issue. But we shall see. I don't think we're... Issue meaning I don't think they're going to be pitting anytime soon. Little bit of fall off. I mean, this is one of the longer green flag runs we've seen on the day. We've really only seen 34 laps on these tires at the most, which is going to be a little bit longer than that, even for these teams that split the race in half. Probably closer to 40, maybe a couple laps more than 40. Somebody's going to end up coming down like 35 laps into the run or something and basically bring everybody else with them. There'll be a handful that will try to split in half and stay on the normal strategy, but those are the normal tendencies we see with the stage racing. You can expect them to come to pit road pretty basic and split it down the middle, and all it takes is one guy from the top 5, top 10 to come down a little earlier than that and bring everybody else with them. The 3 laps to go. Battle for second starting to heat up just a little bit. Third place, sorry. Love, Sawallich, Jones, and Hill. All pretty tightly to one another. Single file down the backstretch and now into 3 and 4. Sawallich running the bottom in the clean air. Austin Hill having a really wide line. Center of the corner. Corey Day getting very loose out of turn 4. Also starting to track behind those 4 I just mentioned. Creed making a pass in 1 and 2 on Eckes. Just inside the top 10 was that battle.
Fitting for this race, brought to you by Borrow, bank that puts money in your pocket. Connor Zilic leading, and he's got a
Oh.
stranglehold. Season
Jeb Burton.
championship. And we're going to get a caution. Second for incident tonight. And that's been the wall.
Interesting. Another one of the Jordan Anderson cars. Yeah, it looks like a right front issue. You got to wonder if it's an air pressure camber. It's related issue.
And it's a hard hit in the outside wall there off of 2.
He's running 18th.
And they hit in the same place, right? I mean, down in the middle of turn 1.
Wow, this was a little later. This was off of 2. Jordan Anderson was actually down into 1. But it's very similar damage to your point. Very similar situation.
Hey, Allgaier had the speeding penalty, was able to drive back up to 12, so they did a really good job of getting back into things here.
I want
You
to.
better hope when he stops. There's signal over there.
His fires erupted in a hurry, and you can see it there under the hood.
Yeah.
Not only just in the right front tire.
So close to a win at Talladega that would have locked him into the playoffs. And unfortunately, he misses it by inches and is not going to qualify for the postseason in 2025. You look at the points as they run. Harrison Burton plus 41. Great situation for he, Creed, and Gray. And now the question becomes, because Chad Burton was the only driver that could point his way in from below the cut line, do we get a new winner? And I would say that this caution actually is probably pretty good for Connor Zilic from the standpoint that you're not going to have to manage a green flag pit stop and all the strategy that would come with that. Now we revisit what brought out the caution.
And you see
Wow.
here, just off of 2, the right front
That was
goes
a
down
big
and
hit.
a hard impact to the
Terrible
outside
angle.
wall.
Yeah, you see he drifted up in the middle of the corner and kind of driving back down. Angle. Oh, huge blow right there.
Awful hit. Great avoidance there by Brendan Poole and Parker. So sideways they were.
That was a
I'll
shot.
go in. So thankful to see him climbing out of the race car, you know? Yeah, it was a huge impact for him. This place is so sneaky because a lot of short track characteristics, right?
Yep.
But it's a mile and a quarter, and you carry a lot of speed. It's a little bit of a hybrid, and the speed will sneak up on you.
Yeah, and it's, the difference between the straightaways and the corners and how long the brake zones are here. The cars heat up a ton as you're going through the brake zone, and then they cool down back down the straightaway, and you sometimes have brake issues that we talked about. Sometimes the rotors can have an issue, or you get the shake where the rotors actually get warped a little bit, and it also just puts a ton of stress on the tires and all parts of these race cars at tracks like this.
I'll tell you, Jeb's a great leader for that team. And when we talk about the disappointment and all the things that could have been for he and this organization, but I mean, he does a nice job of keeping this group together, and they stayed in it right here to the end of night in the regular season finale. Third caution of the night, second for incident, and this was for Jeff Burton. Hard into the wall. This stuff's coming when we return. It's the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Live from St. Louis. We appreciate you on the CW.
50 laps to go, still under cleanup. They haven't even opened pit road following the Jeb Burton incident. Something breaking on his race car up out of turn 2. It didn't look like it was a brake failure that time. It had to be something in the suspension. He was very late in the corner for it to really be a brake problem. Then he was able to get his car to stop pretty easily back into his pit box once he drove it all the way back around with the significant damage he had. The fire underneath the right front by that point as well. Connor Zilic, our race leader, under caution. Eric Almirola in second. Jesse Love third. Fourth for William Sawalich. Brandon Jones fifth. And Austin Hill sixth at the time of the caution. It's our third yellow of the day. Second for incident. Both involving Jordan Anderson Racing Chevrolets. 32 at the end of stage 1. And now this one right here. First caution of stage 3. That was our longest green flag run of the day so far. And now they're inside the fuel window. I don't think that this is going to be the final caution. Ryan Sieg, by the way, remember, he's got an extra set of tires left. So, in the event of catching any more cautions, the rest of the race, maybe something can be had for Sieg back at 25th to maybe be the new winner. They did not take tires at the end of stage 1. So it's been proven that guys have been able to go 70 laps on tires because he was able to. Who's going to dominate when Zilich leaves? Well, we kind of had that question coming into the series this year with AJ Allmendinger moving up. And we thought it was going to be Allgaier the way he had those 3 wins early in the year. Really, Allgaier and Hill both getting 3 wins for Connor Zilich for the Xfinity Series. And then for the trucks, it's been the year of Corey Heim. This is going to be in the Cup Series. Who's the fall going to belong to? Maybe Ryan Blaney? Anybody in the chat agree with me there? Might be fanboying a little bit. It looks good again this weekend, though. He had an off week last week and still flirted with a top 10. Prior to the spin, of course. Spin damage, and from there he didn't. 100 people in the chat. Be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe for more NASCAR content. We got 59 likes so far in the stream. 57 laps to go as we continue our live commentary coverage of the New Way 200 at Gateway for the NASCAR Xfinity Series.
DW Sports coverage of the NASCAR Xfinity Series is brought to you by Progressive. Save when you bundle home, auto, and motorcycle insurance. Visit Progressive.com. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Caution is out. Midway through the final stage at St. Louis. And Sheldon Creed has clinched a playoff spot with his performance here tonight and the advantage he had above the cut line coming in. So 10 drivers have now locked up a playoff spot. 8 have done it with victories, 2 on points, 2 spots remain. I'll tell you, Taylor Gray is in a great position regardless of what happens. And Harrison Burton pretty good too, as long as we don't get a new winner. In fact, both those drivers will be in as long as we don't get a new winner tonight. Progressive Pit Road is open. Huge stops here. Gotta execute. Zilich leading in. Here's Kim.
And Adam Williams-Sawallich's crew has done a fabulous job all night, gaining spots on both the previous 2 stops. They'll look for a fast and clean stop here right now. William complaining he could just get a little help on the exit of 2. He thinks it'll be better. Tight, can't finish the corner like he wants. Also lost rear grip on the run, so they will free him up just a little bit as they put on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. You saw that chassis adjustment, Dylan.
Eric Almirola felt like they'd taken rear lateral grip away and also just felt like the car started to tighten up again on him that run. 4 tires, maybe an air pressure adjustment for him. Jesse was battling a losing a very tight race car. Also had no brakes at the end of that run, so they were telling him on his fans. Connor Zilich said he's as good as they've been all night and vetoed Marty Lindley wanting to make a chassis adjustment to potentially tighten them up. Zilich is happy in the 88.
Yeah, 88 hole serve on the pit lane as they exit Progressive Pit Road. Comes off behind him. Under caution for the third time tonight, and it's for Jet Burton. Hard hit, hitting his night here in St. Louis.
Hard is an understatement. Every time they show the replay of that at full speed, that just looks nasty. He hit so hard at such an awkward angle that both the left side tires came up off the ground for a brief moment. I mean, he had to hit that wall with a ton of G's. Worst part is he was probably on throttle that late in the corner when the car broke, so for him to hit in that awkward angle. Luckily, it was on the safer barrier part of the corner and not by the exit completely when it was just straight concrete. Otherwise, he would have felt that a lot worse. 5 lead changes so far tonight. Connor Zilich is our race leader, winning the race off of pit road. Brandon Jones going to be in second on the restart. The Brandon Jones third, Jesse Love fourth. Austin Hill will round out the top 5 in fifth. 6th for Sheldon Creed. Corday will be 7th. Williams-Sawallich 8th. Christian Eckes 9th. Taylor Gray in 10th. 11th, Justin Allgaier, Daniel Hemrick in 12th. Kind of forgot Hemrick was in the race tonight for colleague with the trucks off this weekend. Jeffy Grande Johnson, welcome to the stream. Shout outs to you guys as well. Hour and a half into the race, 3 cautions. And again, just less than 50 laps to go. Really, we're working closer to 40 to go at this point. The longer green flag runs we've had today, this could very well be the final restart. Got a golf scramble tomorrow morning. Getting ready. I didn't get to play today at all. So I'm definitely going to have to hit the driving range tomorrow morning beforehand. Wish me luck. I'll let you guys know in the Cup Series stream how I do. How the team does. I think we finished like 3rd or 4th in this thing last year. 12 under. Got a solid team. We've got the same team back. I'm hitting the ball well. I'm definitely hitting the ball a lot better now than what I was during the scramble last year. So I just wasn't playing enough last year. This year, a couple times a week the last couple weeks. So gearing up. Shot a 1 over par 70 on I gotta think Friday. Yeah, because yesterday. Keep forgetting today's Saturday. It feels like a Sunday for some reason.
As we run toward a championship in the Xfinity Series, and of course, lots of college football in the ACC and Pac-12.
Brandon Jones on low air pressure. Sparking. Yeah, as he's swerving back and forth, you see the splitter dragging on the left side of that car. They put themselves in a great position right here, though, on late race restart.
All these cars been doing that all weekend long. That's how these cars make grip. All those left sides just dragging the ground, basically.
Do the choose here. I think it's a no-brainer. Zilic going to take the outside. That's what we've seen from the front car all night long. But Almirola going to start on the front row for the first time this evening. Jones goes outside with Zilic. And as everyone does the choose, let's reset things for this final run of the race. Zilic, unless he has a problem, is going to win the regular season championship. Although Allgaier's done a great job coming back from the speeding penalty prior to the choose, he was 11th. And Jet Burton was the only driver coming into tonight that was below the cut line that could point in. He's done for the evening. So now if you want to upset the playoff cut line, you're going to have to win. And I look at drivers, that would have a chance to do that up there. We've talked. They've been in the game, but boy, it's a long way to get to the front from where they are with only 41 laps to go.
Yeah, a couple of
41 laps to go on the restart. And it'll be Connor Zilic outside of row 1, Eric Almirola inside.
going to be like 5 or 6 rows back. Without a doubt, we will see him make it 3 wide down in turn 1.
And keep an eye on Jesse Love. He was aggressive on the last restart, diving in the bottom down into turn 1. He might want to try that move a second time.
Connor Zilic has won the last 3 races, 6 of them.
Outside of row 1, Zilic got out to a pretty healthy lead over Almirola on that last restart. They made some great adjustments over that last pit stop. Zilic has looked really the best that he has all night long. He ran his fastest lap of the race, 33.57, which was the fastest lap of the race overall during that said run. Bit of a staggeredness in the back of the pack, but the green flag in the air and fairly calm at the front of the field on their entryway through turns 1 and 2. Eric Almirola hugging on the inside line of Zilic up off the exit of the corner in a tense side draft from the inside car of Almirola. A little bit of bump drafting, though, for Brandon Jones in the back of the 88. Not going to go with his teammate. That's because he's going to try to make a pass on his teammate instead. Almirola overdrives the entry through 3 and 4. He goes way up the racetrack, slides in front of Brandon Jones. He is clear. Both those JGR Toyotas will lose time. And Jesse Love now to the inside for second place. They've lost a ton of time on the leader, Connor Zilic. There's so many cars sparking with their left front fenders because of how low the left front air pressure is on a lot of these race cars. Hopefully nobody was too aggressive with that, and we have some sort of an issue because of the tires running so low on air pressure. Sheldon Creed up inside the top 5 for the first time. Made a pass on Jones. Jones with the crossover through 3 and 4 will slide back clear of him. Corey Day, Austin Hill, 3 wide, middle and outer lanes off the exit of turn 4. It's getting very tight. Luckily, the car underneath both of them gave him some room. That would have been the 16 of Christian Eckes. Actually, sorry, the wrong colleague car, the 11 of Daniel Hemrick. He'll go way up the racetrack again, and now it's Eckes up the middle, 3 wide, in between his teammate. Alongside Hill. A little bit of a fender flare on that 16 car as well. And he got hit from behind. I almost wonder if that started the bottlenecking that we had at the back of the pack on the restart, because Eckes has a huge hole in the back bumper of his race car. And again, it's probably pushed in so much so that that left rear fender's sticking out a bit. And that's going to act like a parachute down these longer straightaways at Gateway, costing him time there. Probably handle a bit better in the corners with the downforce side of things. 1.2 second lead already for Zilich. Over Love, 1.8 seconds to Almirola and 2 seconds to Brandon Jones, who somehow held on for 4th on the restart. Contact in the middle of the pack showing a replay off turn 4 between Nick Sanchez and Justin Allgaier. There were 3 wide, the 7 in the middle, the 48 up high. Had room with the car down low on the bottom. It's just a very tight racetrack, especially get up off the exit of the corners. It's very narrow. Mostly 1 groove track, somewhat 2 at times, but definitely not 3 like it was right there. Sawalich just set his fastest lap of the race on this last restart again. So the track getting a bit quicker as we fall into further nighttime skies. Temperature in the racetrack continues to drop. And adjustments getting better for the 88. Here's Jeff Burton outside the Infield Care Center.
Not really. We struggled a little bit short on today, but our long run speed was pretty good. So just hate it for my guys. Wanted to not get a DNF, but that's kind of out of our control. But that was a hard hit. Definitely didn't feel good, but appreciate my guys. Appreciate Underlaw and all the Bomarito Autosport guys that help us. And it just sucks, but we'll go into Briscoe next week.
Thanks, Jeff. Glad you're okay.
Andre Jordan Anderson first top 10 last week at Portland to DNS.
Sam Mayer's also got quite a bit of damage to the back of his race car. Very similar looking to that of Christian Eckes that I saw in the middle of the pack a couple of laps back. I've seen a ton of tire fall off. I don't know that Zilich is getting too far out ahead too early for me to feel unsafe that somebody else might be able to catch him on the long run. Almirola's had a decent long run car. So if anybody's going to do it, it's probably going to be him. And the good news is his pit crew didn't lose as many spots on pit road for him this time as they had earlier in the race. The first 2 stops, they went from 2nd to 6th both times. This time he was at 4th, got 1 spot back after a battle with Brandon Jones. He's in 3rd. So he may not fall quite as far up out of the lead. .33 to go this time by. On the rear bumper cam for Harrison Burton. Sheldon Creed getting by the 18 of William Sawalich for 5th. Corey Day right behind both drivers. Creed way up wide. That groove's widened out so much through 3 and 4 from where it was at the start of the race. It's just a natural line, the fact that we're seeing a lot of cars running about a lane and a half, maybe a lane off the wall. It's not that wide in 1 and 2. Or sharper angled turn, you probably want to get down to the curbing a little bit more. It's widened out 1 and 2, just not as much as what it is through that sweeping 3 and 4. 1.7 seconds. Oh, Harrison Burton around. Not sure what end of the racetrack that's in. He's able to lock the car down, keep from getting any significant damage. And he'll live to fight another lap. He's going to the tail end of the lead lap. Maybe have flat spotted the left front tire just a bit. Following the slide. This might be a decent caution for Ryan Sieg. He's got an extra set of tires left. He's currently running in 18th. Oh, no, that's Kyle Sieg. Ryan Sieg is 16th, but he has an extra set of tires. Does he pit now, or does he wait for an even later caution? I think if he waits for an even later caution, it'll help him even more, depending on the laps left, because he can gain more time. We really only ran about 10 laps there, maybe 12. Nothing of Harrison Burton's own doing there. The 44 car underneath him pushed tight through turns 1 and 2, clipped him in the left rear, and around went Burton. Good job locking it up, and a great job by the rest of the field through the stream of smoke not to hit him, splitting around him inside and out by the exit of turn 2. I think track position is going to mean more than tires here. I don't see Sieg getting all the way up to the lead, even with that extra set for right now. Even if he were to pit later in the race, I don't think he gets back up to the lead. I think, depending on how much later we go, there's a chance he gets back up maybe near the top 10, and definitely better than where he's running right now in 16th, but I don't think he has a shot to win, which is what he's going to need to do to make the playoffs, which is probably the lone reason why they made that decision to save that extra set of tires. Spin not going to hurt Harrison Burton with Jeb Burton out of the race. Remember, he is in a situation where Jeb Burton will miss the playoffs, and the only thing that can bump Harrison Burton is a new winner. Highest full-time Xfinity Series regular without a win below the cutoff line in points is William Sawalich in 6th. And we'd actually seen him lead earlier. He won the race off pit road after the stage 1 pit stop caution period and led for, I believe, 7 laps. Yep, 7 laps led. Nobody's led as much as Connor Zilisch, though. 92 laps led for the kid yet again tonight. 92 out of 131. Justin Allgaier won stage 2, led for 28 laps, had a speeding penalty on pit road, has only recovered back to 12th. Got back up around 12th, 13th pretty quickly, and he's been stuck there ever since. Austin Hill into the pits.
They can't do anything with this car. Worst it's been all day, so they will look for some slight adjustments. See the chassis wrench going in right there. And then as we talk about Harrison Burton, that spin out on the radio, he did ask, was that his fault, or did the 44 Brennan Poole wash out? They told him, washed out, it was not your fault. But Harrison's response was, we have to execute better. It's not running back here. We have to extend it up further. Can't get in other people's messes. Remember, they used all 3 sets of fresh Goodyear tires that are full scuffed tires going on that car for Harrison Burton.
Yeah, it's a great point, Kim. Everyone had 3 sets of sticker tires laying in the pits, and you see Austin Hill come down. You're like, if they're going to pit here, why wouldn't you put on tires? They don't have any left. Harrison, after the spin, had no choice but to go to those scuffed tires. That's just the setup here in the Xfinity Series, everybody.
So Ryan Sieg did not come into the pits, by the way. Major adjustments being made on the 8 of Sammy Smith. Although they're pouring something into the car, so maybe he's having some issues. Brake fluid, maybe? The way they were underneath the rear of the race car, maybe his rear brakes are giving way on him. Strapping the hood pins back in. Hood is back down. Sammy Smith will get out of his pit box, hold on to his lap. Been outside the top 10 all night. Not a great night for Sammy Smith. He's thrived this season on these tracks like this where there is a lot of grip for the most part, not a lot of tire fall off. Now there's some smoke coming out of the back of the 8 car, so yeah, something's up. This was after he had made his stop and was leaving pit road as the smoke was trailing on the excess road at the bottom of the track. Hopefully he's not leaking any fluids. Knowing that they filled something back up in the race car, he is probably leaking fluids. I would be right back on pit road immediately, and this is probably going to lengthen the caution out quite a bit because now we're going to have to get safety equipment out there, get some speedy dry on the racetrack. Because he's still smoking down to the bottom lane. There's actually a fire coming out from underneath the car, and there's parts and pieces that are falling out. So something is not right on that 8 machine. Oh boy. All right. Well, apparently the fire isn't worth investigating as far as leaking fluid on the back straightaway, because NASCAR is going to be given the 1 to go signal. And they're at the choose rule. Knowing that there was a fire there, I don't think there's any fluids. I wonder what they were filling into the race car. Under the hood. It's Justin Allgaier going to be right around row 6. Again, had that speeding penalty, got into the top dozen, and he's been parked just outside the top 10 pretty much ever since. Get a restart in this time by. Alrighty. Love Zilich. Front row, Zilich on the outside as he's been every time as the control car. Jesse Love down low on the bottom. Green flag back in the air here at Gateway. Oh, we got one car up against the wall. End of the front stretch, tags another, and they're crashing into turn 1. Justin Allgaier is around, gets piled into by Nick Sanchez. Pretty late into the accident. Ryan Sieg making contact with Allgaier as well. Sam Mayer's front end's torn apart. That was another mess. A handful of rows back in the restart zone where the bottlenecking started. I don't know who got against the wall first. Somebody did, and got some major damage as a result.
Lanes, and we saw this on the restart before. As you get more aggressive, you start to get some accordion effect at some of these tracks, especially these straight.
Yeah, Justin thought his car was tore before. It is extremely tore up right now. He had contact on multiple sides of that car.
We see this in these tracks because it's so straight, you can't see really around the ahead of you, so you're just dependent on the car in front of you. You're reacting to the car in front of you, especially when the restart zones are pretty late down the straightaway.
Well, there's nowhere to go. You're already up against that outside wall. But you're right. Creed had a hard time, whether he missed a shift or something broke in that car.
Yeah, so something was happening. He was slow, and then I believe his teammate Sam Mayer actually clips him. So yeah, you see he barely gets going. They try to avoid him. Sam Mayer gets squeezed between his teammate and Corey Day there, and then spun around from the field, and then the melee breaks out.
Well, when when there was contact with Mayer initially, he just had no control of his car.
Right.
And so as those cars are sliding, he's collecting it, but he's just trying to. He either missed his shit or just lost all power right there. And you see Sam now just trying to gather it up. That could have honestly that could have been a lot worse than what it was right there.
A couple of guys up in the top 6 need a win to make their way into the playoffs. Eckes and Sowalich, something to be thinking about. They were able to escape the mess here that has produced our 5th.
I was thinking, well, we think alike, Adam. That's why, it's just brilliant minds. He did not have the restart that he needed right there, but he's going to get another shot at it right now.
And by the way, in case you were wondering, it will be Zilich scored as the race leader. You use scoring loops to determine who where everybody will be running, but Zilich is going to be in control once again.
Oh, and Ryan Sieg, pretty bad beat here. He's basically cleared through this, and then the 7 of Justin Allgaier comes right across in front of him. Right at the end, you see it right there.
Harrison did a really good job right there, getting slowed down, not getting run into. You see, it's almost two wrecks. There was the first wreck, and then it was thought they were clear, but they didn't realize that Mayer was out of control from the contact he had in the front of the pack. So we kind of had the initial contact. They thought they were through it. Yeah, Corey Day, I mean, he just had nowhere to go right there.
9 cars involved in the crash. Day, after the contact, able to drive through. Hemrick got a little piece of the action in the 11, but he too was able
Right
to
there.
escape. And look at that.
Oh, like he was clear. And it just fell right in front of him. Let's take a listen to Sheldon Creed's radio. So what he's referencing there is when he went to shift from second to third. It's not that he missed a gear. It's that when he went to put it there, there was just there was no drive in that gear. So you lose your momentum, and he probably went to fourth and went back to second, just trying to find something. But you've lost all the momentum you have, and everyone behind you was working properly. And it's really, I mean, it's frustrating to be in that position. But when you're Corey Day, you just aren't anticipating that.
See the drivers involved. Some got it worse than others. We said 9 were involved. We'll update that to 10. Caution number 5 comes on. Restart. Right around the corner to go. Racing again. Into St. Louis.
Well, Connor Zilic holds on to the lead. Good fire off out of the restart zone. Didn't even get into turn 1 before the crashing started happening behind him, taking out quite a few quality cars that were in the back half of the top 10. So Zilic out in front. Jesse Love second. Eric Almirola third. Brandon Jones fourth. William Sawalich in fifth. Christian Eckes is now sixth. Seventh. Corey Day. Daniel Hemrick in eighth. Daniel Dye ninth. Parker Retzlaff up to 10th. Matt DiBenedetto 11th. And Ryan Ellis in 12th. A lot of racing still to go. We can get some green flag laps in here. A couple of cautions back to back now. Can have right around 20 laps to go. Mentioned at the start of the stream, I can see a lot of cautions tonight. And for a while, it didn't look like that. Now we've had 3 yellows in the span of about 20-something odd laps. Here we go. Becoming a recurring question every week. Does anybody have anything for Zilic down the stretch? It was kind of a weird race for him. He qualified on the pole. He won stage 1. But you can kind of tell back in stage 1, it didn't look like he had the greatest car. Not the one that was capable of winning the race. It looked like it was the 7 or the 19. 7 gets out to an early lead in stage 2, wins the second stage. And then it's like, all right, that's about what I expected. 7 speeds on pit road. The 88 wins the race out of the pits, and he's dominated stage 3. Ever since winning that race off of pit road. I mean, he looks better than what he did before. I don't know what happened to Eric Almirola that he can't compete with him anymore. He's been about second, third on these restarts, but Zilic has just been pulling him every time.
We're going to find a race track, a facility like this. These football teams are putting a lot of pressure on today's race. Who can start their championship hopes on the right foot? The playoffs are underway.
Time to lay a foundation for a championship Friday night under the lights. Bristol, Tennessee. We're on the air, CW. NASCAR Countdown Live, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You look at the round of 12. You got Bristol. You've got Kansas 1.5 miles, and you wrap things up with a wild card on the road course, the Roval at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But before we get to the postseason business to finish here, ending the regular season, Connor Zilic has the lead. As we finish things out in St. Louis, going to be inside of 20 laps to go.
I really think this is the moment that you talked about earlier from Jesse Love to figure out how can I get a better restart? How can I nail this to stay side by side? And if you can stay side by side off of 2, use the side draft down into 3. We've seen people do that. And how aggressive do you want to drive off into 3? Usually the outside has a bit of leverage, but if late in the race you want to use the fender a little bit, it's on offer.
What do you have for us, Kim?
Yeah, Sammy Smith back down pit road, just left the pit box after they continued repairs, trying to mediate and make that car last, those brakes last through these next 21 laps. But Sammy not happy. Listen to the radio transmission as they got a little debris under the splitter.
So here's the thing in that position when that's I don't want to say scared, but that is kind of the fear there is you're like, listen, I know what this brake pedal feels like.
Yeah.
And when you get to turn 1 at this track, it's extremely fast. So you need really good brakes. If they've lost the right rear caliper or whatever the issues they have on that, he's right. He's gonna lift at the start finish line. Just manage this because they put him in or they're in a position that they can't race. And I feel like the team was maybe saying like, hey, we're still just trying to pump you up. And he's like, no. That's not what's happening right now.
Let's hear from Sam Mayer down to Dillon.
Sam, he has been released from the care center. So I know there was a lot of optimism about this day in general, just talking to you this morning. So how disappointing was the day today and ultimately the result too?
Yeah, I feel like we were coming to our probably best point of the race, and we were going to be in an okay spot to actually have a decent finish. This team has been the top 5 team of the year. Like, I feel like we've always been there and been a part of the races and wins at the end. We haven't always won, but we were always there. But yeah, just really, really unfortunate way to end that one. This place is so much fun. I always love coming here. Wish we would have had a little bit better of an Audubon Ford Mustang. I'm not going to say it's as fast as Xfinity Mobile. Oh, wait. But, it's, I'm just really proud of everybody for sticking with me throughout the day and making the most of it. But obviously it didn't end in our favor. But, yep, we'll be good for the playoffs. We're all right.
Thanks, Sam. He's headed to Bristol with a good attitude.
Yeah, and I would say a good resume. If you go back, he was 16 years old, 7th start, won in a truck at Bristol. So that's a positive place for him. He's won on mile and a half. So we go to Kansas and so good at the Charlotte Roval. In particular, in the playoffs last couple of years, not just road courses, and even though they've lost some momentum last couple of weeks, will be a player.
Your memory never ceases to amaze me. The Sam Mayer Bristol truck win.
There's a lot of stuff up there that we need to download. Here's the choose. Solid second.
Right here, right here. Let's do it.
Well, and if you think back to earlier in the race, Jesse Love made it 3 wide on William getting down into turn 1. You got to assume that William gets the.
All right, back out, trying to catch up. I think I might have been falling behind on the broadcast just a bit.
Drivers, they got a win to get in, and they can see the
There we
front.
go.
And if you had told them beginning this weekend you're going to be in this position, they said, you know what? After the year I've had,
I'll take it. That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
But having said all of that, the control vehicle is the other rookie.
I was going to say,
This night dominated the season, and he's going to try to best his best friend on another restart here, and we'll get it with 18 laps to go.
the key for Connor is to try and clear these cars and get away, but being on that outside, it can leave him vulnerable to cars being overly aggressive, getting into his door, knocking him up the racetrack.
Well, and he's going to have to change up the restart. You can't do the same thing you did on the last restart. You got to change it up and hope that Jesse doesn't time it out or guess it right, or does he get the push he needs from William Swallich being behind him right here?
Started on the
All right, Zillage Love again, back-to-back restarts. We'll see if this one is going to go better for him. Green flag is about to be back in the air as they race out of the restart zone. Zillage waited till late in the zone to launch. Getting a good push from behind by the 19. Not as much for the 2. He gets split 3 wide because Swallich is going for second place underneath everybody. Zillage is going to roll out of turn 2 with the lead for now. Gets closed off a bit with Eric Almirola hanging on that right rear corner panel, but the 88 moved up anyway. He was clear. Jesse Love is going backwards in a hurry. Still trying to fight in that middle group of the racetrack as they work their way through 3 and 4. Love falls from inside of row 1 back to 5th. Brandon Jones side by side for 3rd with Swallich. JGR 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Caution is out. Debris on the front stretch. and it's getting banged around by several race cars in the middle of the pack. A couple of them were able to move out of the way in time, but not all of them.
Pro inside's almost a sitting duck. Like, we haven't really seen anybody be able to I mean, as much as we want to see a race down in turn one, that inside of the front row just cannot get the momentum that they need. And it's almost like the guy in third can get to their inside. Or if you're in second, you need to choose the outside, and choose behind the leader.
So Wallet's probably going to be in the same situation on the next restart that he was on this last one. And, maybe he learned something there that will help him. And there's that debris. It's like everybody's, going. That's when you need the GPS to alert you that there's a Waze in the road.
Yeah, Waze, yeah.
There's a lot of we had that 10-car incident a couple restarts ago, and now you see the result of that is a lot of cars are just bare bottom damage out there, and that looked like it could have had some metal in it as well. So
Looked like it did.
you don't want that on the
Free
racetrack.
pass.
Where you need to be right there, dude. So they're getting on.
So this was a way better restart by Jesse Love. He stays far closer to Connor Sims, but as you mentioned, Jamie, Sawallich just gets that run down into one. He sticks it 3 wide. This puts Jesse Love in a really awkward position and allows Zilich to get away. The outside has all the momentum, and it just seems like from here, the bottom just doesn't work, and Sawallich is going to net out basically in the same position. Yeah, in his one spot than he started.
And what you have to remember is without a doubt, those spotters for Connor and Jesse Love, they had to tell them there's going to be some desperation behind you. That kid has to win in order to get in. So that's in the back of your mind too. So when they split you 3 wide, that his whole season's riding on possibly coming out with the lead on this restart. So you're going to have to get him room or get wrecked.
And it looks like they're going to put him third. So it's kind of just
I love the aggression.
Yeah, I think it was great. I think it's good
what you've got to do if you're in that position. It happened to him, ironically, earlier in the race with Jesse Love, who made it 3 wide. So, yeah, he did the exact same move back to him. And he's got to do what he's got to do to get to the front.
Now he's got the opportunity to choose the outside.
Let's get a report
See if
on
he does.
driver 18. Here's Kel.
Yeah, the team coming on the radio after that last restart, praising the driver, saying, really good job. They liked how aggressive he was, looking for more of that on the next restart. But as we look at this top 3, very interesting, especially Amarola and Sawallich both in the top 3 together, because Eric's been really instrumental and helpful to William as a driver coach as of late. Jeff Mendering was telling me he spent a lot of time helping him, answering questions. And if you were watching our qualifying coverage earlier today, immediately after Eric Amarola took his qualifying lap, he found William, kind of coached him through what to do out on the racetrack. That resulted in a 3rd place qualifying effort. So we'll see if the student can outrun the teacher here in this, what could be the final restart.
It's such a good dynamic what they have going on because Eric has nothing to prove. And he's been around for a long time. And, we talk about teammates within NASCAR. They don't ever really want to help the other one. Like, you're like, not genuinely helping. And I think with Eric, it is genuine. And he's been around a long time and has learned a tremendous amount. Dylan?
Well, hey, guys, it's, of course, NASCAR playoff season here on the CW, but it's also football season on the CW, and Hail Mary is a term that has been thrown around, no pun intended, used a lot in this 16 camp this week. They felt like they had a car that was going to be good enough. They worked on it a lot in practice. They started out, as Christian said, just horrible, and got it by the end of it to be pretty good. So felt like they were definitely trending in the right direction, and we've talked about the experience he has at this racetrack, 9 starts here. He felt like this time of night when the track has gone through the transition from the sun being out to cooled down, now that it's full darkness, was going to be where he excelled. So they got the track position. Christian feels like he's got the experience and the knowledge to know what he needs to do. Now it's just about going and doing it here with 14 to go. They need to win, of course, to get into the playoffs. So anything goes, I think, for the 16 at this point.
It is Hail Mary time. We're getting ready for the choose. Let's get some intel from Team 2, Jesse Love, who's 5th prior to the selection on lane.
I think it's out of it even. Like that.
Yeah, but It
We saw
looks cool.
Allgaier make the top
Yeah, I don't know.
of the race as well, so I don't know that I would agree with that.
I know what he's saying, which is it feels like you're able to make moves down the bottom, do the pop out that Swallows just did to him that he had done earlier, and you feel like maybe at the top, maybe you're at everyone else's mercy of just having the momentum around the outside. But I think if you look at the evidence of the last few restarts, the top has been the place to be.
Well, in about 15 seconds, we're going to find out.
I get the answer. We're going to find out exactly what they're all going to do.
Exciting. We'll do the shoes with 13 laps to go. We'll get the green flag with 12 remaining. By the way, Zilich, who has now led 108, the 109, 109 laps in this race. That's the most he's ever led in an Xfinity race. Zilich goes high, Almirola low. And there you go.
Wow. So all to the top.
Yeah, and Love didn't really have a choice there because Brandon Jones took
And Brandon
took the
gave
top
up a row
Yeah, to stay in the
to
outside.
stay in that outside lane. Well, this is going to be fun. And, we've talked a little bit about the rivalry between Zilich and Sawalich, and they raced each other hard, went at it a lot in ARCA competition.
I feel like this isn't going to be the last restart the way we're working these things here lately. We get about a lap or two in, we catch a caution. We've actually had a yellow each of the last lap, the last couple times. Debris, though, the last time by, they didn't actually wreck. Drivers up inside the top 5. We got 2 of them now. It was pretty much Sawalich all night as far as somebody below the cutoff line who could win and bump Harrison Burton. Now Christian Eckes is up to 5th place as well. Daniel Dye up to 9th. Parker Retzlaff in 10th. I don't know that those guys are going to creep in there, but if something gets nutty up in the front of the field, Sawalich and Eckes could be there to capitalize off of it, and this kind of has that feel that something like that could happen. Almirola and Zilich on the front row. Almirola lined up with the 88. Zilich probably going to try to shake things up here in the restart zone. Oh, he got hit from behind by Sawalich right before he even had a chance to launch, and that gives the 19 an opportunity to try to take the lead on the inside. Side by side through turns 1 and 2. Almirola going to move up, try to force the 88 to lift. As they go wide, that opens the door on the bottom for Jesse Love. They're 3 wide for the lead on the back straightaway. Almirola ran himself out of room by running the 88 up near the fence. And William Sawalich is going to come through on the outside of the 19 down the backstretch, still second. Jesse Love going for 3rd. Crossover by Almirola on Love. 3 wide. Brandon Jones to the outside. Eckes right behind all of them. And it's back to the 88 P1, the 18 P2. I don't see any sort of a tire rub on the 88 for either of those right side tires, so that's good. Because if there was, the guy who's in second needs a win. That could bump out the other Burton, Harrison, from the playoffs. Heck of a battle going on for 3rd between Almirola and Eckes at the front of the pack. They've been crossing each other over back and forth the last couple of corners. Almirola wins the battle. For being a little too aggressive, he ended up losing a little bit too much time. And he's still under duress as he just fights that race car out of turn 2. Now he has more contact, this time with his teammate Brandon Jones to the outside. Eckes is 3 wide down the backstretch for 3rd. He's going to get by both the 20 and the 19. Slides up, holds clear on the 20. Should be able to get a good corner exit to turn 4. The 20 and the 19, meanwhile, still side by side for 4th. And Jesse Love, who's on the front row a couple restarts ago at 6, is right behind, trying to close in. 9 laps to go here at Gateway. Corey Day got squeezed up against the fence too, although it looked like he had a little bit more room with the car underneath him. I think he just probably ran too far wide, maybe got back into the gas too soon up off the exit of turn 2. We've seen quite a few drivers do that this weekend through practice. We saw it a couple times in the Cup Series earlier today, practice and qualifying. Austin Cindric, for instance, kind of grazed that wall up out of turn 2. It comes up on you very quickly. And as a result of that happening to Corey Day, he is still inside the top 10, currently in 9th. He was 6th before the restart. Zilic just hoping to get to the white flag. William Sawalich is hoping for anything to try to catch that 88 car in front of him and save his season, which for a large portion of the regular season, it was not good for the rookie Sawalich in his 18 ride with JGR, but he's turned the corner. Slowly but surely, these last month and a half or so, mostly on the road courses, but now here on an oval at Gateway, he's been top 5 all night. He's up to 2nd. Kind of a little bit of a war of attrition late. Is there anything there? At last lap, he was 1/1000th of a second quicker than Connor Zilic. He's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit more than that if he's going to have anything for him. Zilic just doesn't, to me, seem like the driver's going to make a mistake at this level. What's on the line here, which would be another race win, but not just any race win. Connor Zilic is going for 4 wins in a row, which we have not seen in the Xfinity Series, I believe, since Noah Gragson back in 2021. So it's been a minute. And he would be, I believe, the 8th driver all time in the Xfinity Series to win 4 races in a row. I'm curious to see how he does at Bristol next week where he led a lot of laps in the race earlier in the season. Qualified well, led a lot early, kind of faded mid to late going of the race. But it'll be a track he goes to for the second time. 4 laps to go for Zilic out in front of the pack. Zilic lost a 10th that last time by to Sawalich. It's back down to 7/10 of a second again. AT car is staying right around the bottom of the racetrack on both ends. I'm surprised he hasn't tried a wider line. Middle to upper groove, just to try something different. Also looks like there's maybe a little bit of damage to the nose of the 18, but I can't really tell how much it is or if that's really affecting the race car much. Speed-wise, he's pretty much looked about as equal to the 88 right now as what he's been all night. Just a little bit off. Eckes running in the wider line back in 3rd place. He's 1.6 seconds off the race lead. 2 to go now this time by. Be the 10th win for the 88 this season. A regular season championship and 9 wins in 25 races for Connor Zilic. Missed 1 race this season out of the 26 race regular season, so 9 wins in 25 races. What a year it has been. Just what a summer for Connor Zilic it has been. 7 races to a full season championship, but the regular season championship and the race win is his. As he gets his way to the white flag, just getting up off of turn 2 this time. Caution's not going to ruin his race at this point. And it doesn't look like we're going to catch a caution anyway, as he rounds down through 3 and 4 for the final time. Connor Zilic, with a little bit over a second advantage to William Sawalich, is going to bring it home. 4 wins in a row in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Broken collarbone and all, Connor Zilic does it again as he wins at Worldwide Technology Raceway in the New Way 200. 1.5 second margin of victory, 2 hours, 12 minutes, 30 seconds total time on tonight's race. Regulation length of 160 laps and 200 miles. 8 lead changes, 6 cautions, 42 laps spent under yellow. 5 of those 6 yellows for incident, 1 in stage 1, none in stage 2. Stage caution at lap 70 would have been technically the stage 2 yellow. 4 cautions for incident in stage 3. On the final roughly 55, 60 laps of the race. And the final green flag run of about 12 laps to the finish. Pole, a win, And I believe he had the Xfinity fastest lap at lap 121 of 33.492. Regular season title on top of it, 15. That's a 21 playoff point night for Connor Zilisch. He had a 20-point lead on the regular season title coming in over Justin Allgaier. Obviously was able to seal the deal, winning that with the race win. And man, oh man. This kid is for real. If you didn't think so before, I don't know how you couldn't. I don't know how many more wins he's got to have on all different disciplines of racetrack for you to maybe turn the corner on him, but he turned the corner on me a while ago now. If raw speed was in the dictionary, a picture of Connor Zilisch would be right next to that statement. 121 out of 160 laps led. Other drivers to lead in tonight's race, 7 laps for Sawalich, 2 for Almirola. Justin Allgaier, who actually got a playoff point as well, finishing second in the regular season title, has an 11 playoff night for himself. 11 playoff point night, ends up 28th after getting involved in a late incident, stage 3. Connor Zilisch out of the roof hatch, celebrating on the front stretch in front of the St. Louis crowd.
He's in 1 second. Village. 10 victories.
Gotta be some PTSD right there, right? Be careful, boy. Every time I see him climb up and they say, just get off, like, because it's my day. Yeah, we did.
Let's join the celebration. Here's Kim Coon.
Yeah, Connor Zilisch locks in the regular season championship. Also becomes only the 3rd driver in Xfinity Series history to get 4 wins in a row. Adds his name to the list of Sam Ard and Noah Gragson. Man, you were the dominant car all day long. Had to survive, though, a multiple late race restarts. How did you do it?
Yeah, that one was stressful. Man, that's awesome. 4 in a row. I think that's 7 of the last 8 for our WeatherTech Chevrolet team.
Crazy.
The WeatherTech. It's Cooper McNeil's birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday. It's my mom's birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom. I love you. And yeah, man, that's awesome. 4 in a row. A lot of fans here. It's awesome to come here to St. Louis and bring the Xfinity Series back here. So thank you guys for showing out tonight. And yeah, that's awesome. We're going to celebrate this and the regular season championship.
This summer has been one for the history books. You culminate as the regular season champion. As you head to the playoffs, things kick off at Bristol. How confident are you can continue this run?
Man, this is gonna be tough to keep up. Honestly, you know, it's rare that you can go on a run like this, and every week I show up thinking, man, this is gonna be the weekend that we just go run 8th and just aren't great. But every weekend we show up and we're a winning race car, and my pit crew executes, my team executes, and everybody does their job, and we end up doing burnouts on the front stretch. So yeah, it's awesome to be able to do this and win this many races. This is the most wins Jerem's ever won in a year as well. So really cool to do that for them as well.
Enjoy it.
Thank you, Kim.
Connor Zilisch, a win.
Most wins they've ever won in a single year, and they still have 7 races to go to add more to that total. Here's second place William Sawalich standing with Dylan Welch.
Does that make it sting even that much more to be that close?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. That kind of is what it is. 88 was on rails tonight. I mean, I think he was definitely the best car all night, but our Sound Good Junior Super was certainly as fast as Xfinity Mobile tonight. I mean, didn't make the playoffs, but we certainly gave them a run for their money. Aggressive all night, had good long run speed, short run speed, whatever you want to say. But I'm proud of the boys to bring me a good car, and you know, there's always next year.
Your progression the last month or so, but just this whole year has been something that we've all witnessed and seen. To even be in this position, what does that say just about your resilience and the resilience of this team too to even be in this spot?
Yeah, I mean, obviously never give up. That's never what you want to do. You just want to keep battling and putting in the hard work, studying, learning, like I've been doing, simulator, reviewing footage, whatever it is. Just trying to do what I can do to get better for the guys.
All right, that first win is right around the corner, it seems like, for William Sawalich. Valiant effort, but comes up just a spot short.
2 words come.
We're going to go through the fulfilled finishing order now on screen. Connor Zilisch with the race win. William Sawalich in second. Christian Eckes in third. Brandon Jones fourth. And Jesse Love fifth. Eric Almirola fell back to 6th after restarting on the front row that final time. Daniel Hemrick 7th. Parker Retzlaff 8th. Corey Day held on for 9th after getting against the wall in that final restart out of turn 2. And Daniel Dye rounds out the top 10. All 3 Collie cars on the top 10 tonight. Pretty good for them. Haven't seen that much this year. Matt DiBenedetto in 11th. Austin Hill 12th. Anthony Alfredo 13th. Brendan Poole 14th. Jeremy Clements 15th. 16th for Dean Thompson. Taylor Gray 17th. Ryan Ellis 18th. LeVar Scott 19th. And Thomas Annunziata 20th. 21st, Matt Mills. Harrison Burton 22nd. Blaine Perkins 23rd. Kyle Sieg 24th. Nick Sanchez 25th. Joey Gase 26th. Ryan Sieg 27th. Justin Allgaier 28th. Nick Lights 29th. And he was the last car to finish on the lead lap. So quite a few cars on the lead lap despite the wrecks late in the race. Didn't take out too many of them. Sheldon Creed finishes in 30th. Glenn Reen 31st. And Garrett Smithley 33rd. All 2 laps down, those 3. Sammy Smith 3 laps down. Had a brake rotor issue late, finishing 33rd. Cole Raz finished on the track, but 15 laps down at 34th. And then 4 DNFs tonight. Sam Mayer finishing 35th. Jeb Burton 36th. Karst Squabble 37th. And Jordan Anderson 38th. So that rounds out the field. Full live commentary stream for tomorrow's NASCAR Cup race at Gateway. 240 laps, I believe, are scheduled distance, 300 miles. Pretty short race tomorrow for the NASCAR Cup Series. That will be live on the channel at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, beginning with our pre-race show. We'll do some NASCAR trivia, highlight the Fantasy League, go through the starting lineup, the playoff standings, and then obviously into the race itself with a post-race following where we'll go over my pre-race predictions and all of that good stuff. What went down in the race and what to expect for the Fantasy League fallout from Gateway. Appreciate everybody tuning in tonight for the NASCAR Xfinity Series race. I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. Have a good rest of your Saturday. And now it's time for me to see. Let's shock myself on stream before I get out of here. How badly is Michigan losing to Oklahoma right now? I did not have faith that they were going to win this game tonight. How bad is it? Before I turn the channel. See. 21-7. Well, you know, it could be worse. I said 27-7 at halftime. It was 21-7. I was very close. Yeah, not as bad. Well, I'll probably be watching most of that for the end of the night, and then I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy Saturday.